Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals, your weekly dive into all things Nintendo with a couple of friends. Tonight, we're going to be sharing some of our controversial opinions, as well as talking about the latest news, including the Pokemon Presents and some new demos and games we're playing. We're talking all of that and more. Micah, are you ready to get started with the episode? Alrighty, hello there, fellow Nintendo Pals. It is me, Andros, one of the hosts of the Nintendo Pals podcast, and I am joined by my fellow Nintendo pal, Micah. That was so quiet. Give it to us again, louder.
Yep.
I wish I could see how loud you are. Is your volume up all the way?
It's up all the way. Although my talking is going about a fourth of the way up on this little bar.
Yeah, you need to eat your microphone a little bit more or something.
With this so far away.
With this new recording method, I don't have a way to turn up the volume for you. But I think you should. You should.
I think I have everything maxed.
Really?
My microphone cord or something is failing or something.
Maybe.
I feel like at some point in the past it got quiet. I see you going through all these options.
Yeah, I'm going through all the options on there. There is the little thing there for output volume. You know what I could do is turn mine down to match yours. I don't know if this does anything. It doesn't seem like it does anything. Okay, well, see how this goes. Hopefully,
you have so many more options than I do.
Well, it's because I'm hosting. But speaking of hosting, welcome to Nintendo Pals. You know, where we technically troubleshoot in the middle of the episode because that's just how we roll here. Mike, I gotta ask, how the heck are you?
Good.
Pretty good.
You know, this output volume only affects the live call and not the recording volume?
Oh, so how does that? We'll find out at the end. This may be a very scuffed episode. We apologize in advance. But you know what you could do? You could let us know if it's a scuffed episode by leaving us a 5-star review.
In a 5-star review, of course.
In a 5-star review. You'd be like, wow, this episode's really scuffed. 5 stars. And we appreciate that because you know what it helps us do, Micah?
Yes, I do.
It helps us to take over the world of Nintendo podcasts. Yes, 5-star reviews help us out a lot. It really does. I can't stress it enough. Every 5-star review boosts us in the search algorithms of most podcast platforms. And you would think, okay, if I leave a 5-star review in this spot, will it affect the podcast as a whole? Yes, it does. Apple Podcast 5-star reviews get pulled on all sorts of podcast platforms. Spotify really values 5-star reviews. So please leave us a 5-star review on your listening app of choice. And we'll give you a shout out at the beginning of the episode. And we'll also owe you a high five. 5 stars, high five. All that being said, what do you say we just jump on into the first segment of our show? Let's talk some what you playing. All right, Micah, what have you been playing lately?
I just opened up my parental controls that I have on my Switch for some reason. I've been playing some Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania.
Oh,
that's right. And I have to say, although I still had a lot of fun with it, I think a lot of the minigames maybe aren't quite as good as I remembered them being. Who knows? Maybe that's because the game's been remade and the physics are a little different for these things. But actually, I did play the tennis and that was a lot of fun.
For those watching the video version of the podcast, I am going to walk off screen here to feed Midna the cat. Everybody loves Midna the cat. While Micah explains this game. I can still hear you, by the way. But I'm just rudely interrupting what you're saying to tell you I'm gonna go feed my cat real quick.
All that Nintendo stuff you're doing nowadays. Besides that, I played some Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's been the first time in a long time I've been able to play that locally multiplayer. So that was a lot of fun. And then just the two classics, Splatoon 3 and Rocket League.
You always gotta play those, right?
Of course, a little bit of Nintendo. Helldivers 2 and Baldur's Gate 3.
I played a little bit of Nintendo as well. Actually, just Baldur's Gate 3, the session that we played together. I guess I also played Wordle, but that's not really like a platform, but it is on web.
A very Nintendo game.
Yeah. Especially, when I was playing Squirtle, the Pokemon Wordle, version. and also Zelda Hurdle, which is probably my new favorite game of 2020.
Zelda Hurdle?
Zelda Hurdle. Hurdle is like Wordle. You get, I think, 6 guesses to guess the song. And it plays like a little snippet of the song. So the first thing it gives you is 1 second. 1 second of the song. And then if you can't guess it from there, It will tell you if you got the right game or and that's all it does for Zelda. For the Mario version, it tells you like higher or lower for the year of release or whatever. So it gives you hints as you're going through. And the Zelda hurdle is a lot of fun, and I'm very good at it. I got the song Inside the Great Deku Tree in 1 second. If anybody out there could like pull that up right now and listen to the first second of that song, you'll know that there is nothing there. It just plays that like
Sounds very similar to
yeah. That's all it was. It was like I was like, but I'm my brain's wired different, man. I was like, I know this song. It is the song of my people. I got that one instantaneously. And then there were a couple where I got tripped up because it includes Smash Bros music. And the Smash Bros. So it would put in a song, and I was like, oh yeah, this is Wind Waker. And it was like, nope, not from Wind Waker. I'm like, I swear this is a Wind Waker song. And it was like, oh, it's from Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's the exact same song I was thinking. It's just from Smash Bros. Ultimate. That was tricky. There was also
not the exact song you were thinking.
Yeah,
of,
there was also
obviously.
a difference apparently between Wind Waker and Wind Waker HD soundtracks. And I'm like, that's not fair. Those sound so incredibly similar, but it was still a lot of fun. Yeah, those HD sounds, man. But I had a lot of fun with that. Everybody should check it out. Zelda Hurdle. That's heard like I heard through my ears.
Sense.
And yeah, I don't think I lost any of them. I got every single one that I got, and there were several that I got within 1 second. We should play that sometime. Like we can compete.
What they need is Golden Sun Hurdle.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I'd be horrible at that actually, but
or
great.
Just like Nintendo General Hurdle. I'm sure that's a thing. That has to be, right?
Seems like it would be.
Anywho, besides that, I've just been playing away at Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Playing that a lot of evenings over the past week or so. And I've got a conflicted opinion about this game. I don't know if I've talked to you about this already. I feel like I was talking to somebody about it, but I at least put it out on Discord. I did not find the game that fun until like World 6. And then you have World 6, 7, 8, and then it's over for the base game. But then that's only half the game because there's normal mode, like I think it's called standard or classic mode, and then there's expert mode. And that's all new levels and like a very different way to play. And all of that has been very fun and way more challenging. So the second half of the game is pretty fun. Still not sure if it's like $50 pretty fun, but it's pretty fun. And can I really recommend a game that takes like 5 hours before you get good? And the game's like 8 hours long. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know.
It sounds like you're describing every JRPG.
Well, no.
Beginning there.
I'm talking like that's like 20 hours in, but still percentage wise, there's a lot of the game left. This didn't get fun till like halfway through the game, and the second half, the expert mode, is much faster levels. Even through like the standard game, Worlds 6, 7, and 8 still felt slow. And if you like mess up, it starts you all the way back at the beginning. And Mario's just slow. Like the whole thing feels sluggish. But the second half of the game, the levels are shorter but more challenging, and it's all about leading Toy Mario to the exit. So I just find that more compelling and more fun. This has the same charm level to me as like Captain Toad, but I think Captain Toad is better. The game, not the character. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Because that one, I don't know, it just feels more fun right off the bat. So I am conflicted about this game. I can recommend the second half, but if it takes that long to like get to a good spot, is it worth it?
How have your kids been liking it?
They haven't, because they played several
Did your son
worlds.
say it was impossible?
Not interested. Yeah, he did about like World 6. So about the point that I liked it, he was like, "I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore." So there's that. Plus, we got so many games to play, and then he's still asking for new ones. Did I tell this story on the podcast where he was like,
On the podcast, but talk to me, yeah.
He's like begging for a game. He's like, these other games aren't that good. We should get this game.
One was trash. One's impossible.
Well, if I didn't share that on the podcast, it was pretty funny, and I really, because he was very serious, and I had to try really hard not to laugh because it's just so funny. He was sitting there begging for a $30 game, like an Overcooked type game. I think it's called like Played Up. It was shown in a direct, but no, man, we can't just get all the games, despite what you see Dad doing. Speaking of, are there any games coming up that you're looking at getting?
I would like to get the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Yeah,
I
I'm
might
getting
already
that one
have it
for
on the
sure.
GameCube, so I probably won't. And then Luigi's Mansion 2, since I never played that. That one coming to Switch. I'm looking at getting. I feel like besides that, it's just Metroid Prime 4 when it releases this year.
So I am going to be picking up, I think, well, it depends on if my brother's going to get it or if you're going to get it, if any of my friends are going to get it. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. Because I think that'd be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that one as a kid, so I've got a lot of nostalgia for it. But while I'm in here, that reminds me that I did pick up the DLC for Vampire Survivors, the Among Us DLC. And I just unlocked the Among Us bean last night.
Play it?
Yeah.
Is it
No,
awesome?
I haven't played as the Among Us bean yet.
Not even one?
No, I mean, I played a full round of that game takes a while.
You always got to play on the hurry mode or hyperspeed.
Yeah, I
don't
wasn't
know
playing on hyper mode because I wanted to
which one's which.
get the full experience of the level. But I also played. I played as Eleanor, one of the DLC characters. It comes with more than the Among Us DLC. There's a bunch of extra stuff. So there's a lot to it that I need to dive into, and I'm excited to dive into because Vampire Survivors is so fun. I played as Eleanor and got just walloped on the Among Us level. So I switched to Papino. You know Papino?
I think so.
The tree.
Is he...
I was playing the
Oh,
tree.
yeah. That sounds like the most boring way to play. The
You
best way
move
to play
so
is-
slow.
What is it, Sigma or something? The
Sigma
most overpowered character?
with the sword.
Yeah.
I think the most overpowered character is Missing No. Just the you're just
Pretty sure.
busted.
It's like I've played as that person before, but
You're basically a reaper, one of the like end game kill you reapers.
oh yeah, green, right?
You're green?
I don't know.
I think you're red.
Are you red?
Yeah, there's just like the
Uh.
standard reaper, but then there's Missing No, who's like a glitched out version
Now I
of the
gotta look
reaper,
that
and he's
up.
very powerful. And
I'll look
just,
it up on
it's
my phone so people don't hear
it's
my
no fun to play like
keyboard.
that though. I don't want to play as like super OP.
Yeah, that's what I felt as the Sigma person. 'Cause you get their
Yeah.
like sword leveled up, and it's just like I'm going to nuke everything on screen. Essentially.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like more powerful the more things you kill.
Yeah, so I ended up I was playing as the tree, which in order to play as the tree, you really need the speed up item. All right. And I didn't get that. That was the last one I got. It would not give it to me. I was like, come on. And so I spent the first 15 minutes of the round moving at tree speed, which is real slow, real bad. But it was still a lot of fun. The tree is like near invincible at the beginning.
Sounds boring.
I had a good time
Being
with it.
able to really move.
I had a good time with it. The music's great. The new levels are fun. I did not win, by the way. That's why I didn't play anymore. I forgot. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to hop off because I wanted to stream. But I died. And I died to a bunch of robots. Tons and tons of robots. Which you wouldn't think that aesthetic would work with the Vampire Survivor, like, Castlevania theme, essentially. But they just are like, yeah, now you're in space. I go, okay. It just works.
Anything can happen in space.
Yep. In addition to those games that I previously mentioned, I just scratched the surface of the Princess Peach demo. I haven't gotten to any like gameplay yet. It was just like all the intro cutscenes because I was trying to do that before the podcast recording tonight. So I'm gonna give that demo a try. It looks really good. I wonder if it's going to play really good. We'll see. Stay tuned. Now with that, you got anything else you want to cover? What you playing?
I mentioned it all. Actually, I did play NFL Blitz 2000 as well.
Oh, I didn't even mention the things I played for stream. I should mention that because everybody should be checking out twitch.tv/Andros1 because I am streaming every day for the month of March. I started a little late, but I'm streaming every day. I'm on day 5. Started on the 3rd. And as part of those streams, I did the Wordle stuff. I did the Hurdle stuff. But I've also been doing a Tears of the Kingdom challenge, and I just finished it last night. And that is beat the first temple with no glider. The Wind Temple, the one where you're in the sky fighting a boss in the sky. Yeah, I did that with no glider. I'm pretty good at that game, I think.
Was it fun?
Buzz, Buzz, was it fun? Yeah, I had a good time.
I don't know. It seemed like it paused a really long time there.
Yeah, well, there were moments where I was like, this is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And then there were moments where like, wow, this is way easier than I thought it was going to be. Like the boss fight, phase one, cake. You fall off, and it just puts you up on an island where you can just like shoot down on it. And it's like, oh, okay.
What are the different phases? Doesn't it just start making tornadoes or something?
Yeah, phase two is tornadoes, and phase two was freaking impossible. It was so hard. It's so hard. That took me a long time. But video for that will come out on my YouTube channel at some point. So if you missed the stream, don't worry. Andros on YouTube. Just search Andros1. You'll find me. Find my Zelda challenge videos. I have a Zelda challenge coming up. I'll probably do it tomorrow. We're recording this on Friday. I'll probably do this Saturday. So you'll probably have missed this as well if you're listening to the podcast. So, crossing the map in a straight line. And this is why I did the first temple gliderless, because my route will be going close to Rito Village, and I needed it to not be icy snowy. That is ultimately why I went about doing what I did. And it's gonna be interesting. I am questioning if it's possible. I've spent hours routing my route, like actual real life hours trying to figure out where I can possibly cross the map in a full straight line. And this is crossing.
Just like look at the map and be like, I think I can do it here.
Yes, except when you say I think I can do it here, think about all the bodies of water you have to cross.
Well, that's why you avoid the
water's
bodies
a
of
game
water
over.
on your straight line.
Yeah. You go draw lines on the map and tell me how many spots you can do that in, because longitudinally,
At least three.
there's I think only one, and I think I might have found it. We're gonna find out though. We're gonna find out now.
Yeah,
Latitude
Tears of the Kingdom map.
Is latitude up and down? I always
Yeah, latitude because it's like a ladder.
not latitude like lateral, but latitude. There's a lot of routes, and that's the one that Doug did, and he's the one that originally did the challenge. And so I was like, I'm gonna do it better than Doug. I'm gonna go
Are you
longitudinal,
kind of over Death Mountain?
kind of under Death Mountain, like
Under Death Mountain.
the line right under the castle.
The castle.
Mm.
That's like the very middle of the map.
No, that's north. I mean, not that. I mean, it's not super north, but it's north of the middle. I am starting at the bottom area of Rito Village and crossing.
I'm not doesn't show where Rito Village is, and I don't remember. Oh, right there, right under. Yeah, how are you going down into that chasm though?
There's like a little gap that I think I can make. It's gonna. You got to tune in, okay? I'm giving away too much.
I'm just driving a pipe. All these chasms and things. I don't know. Kind of looks like you could go right above Death Mountain.
Yeah, but then you have to go through.
Of course, you got to go over like 2 mountain peaks. It looks like.
Yeah, but you got to think winter areas are out because you're not allowed to use items. So.
Well, if you run real fast, you stay warm.
No, you don't. Yeah, so icy zones are out completely because you'll die, and that's why I did the whole Rito thing. Anywho, I'm excited for that. I've been loving doing the streams. It's a lot of fun. So everybody should tune in. My goal is to get my concurrent viewers up on my streams to like 10 concurrent viewers. So even if it's just to lurk, come hang out on Andros1 all month long. With that being said, let's jump in. We got a lot of news to cover, so let's talk some Nintendo news. All right. First off, let's talk about Pokemon Presents. Micah, I'm going to level with you. I did not watch the Pokemon Present.
There we go.
I didn't watch.
I'm gonna level with you. I did watch it.
Okay.
I don't remember anything in it. I've forgotten everything except the last announcement, which didn't really show much.
Well, I assumed that it was going to be a lot of talking about their different apps, which skimming through the presentation now kind of looked like that's what was going. That's what happened. They just show some like Pokemon card stuff.
Oh yeah, the digital Pokemon card. That seemed pretty cool.
Digital Pokemon card. Tell me about that. What?
Collect Pokemon. Well, at some point, I don't remember when it was going to be actually happening, but there'll be like an app or something, and you get your like digital Pokemon cards, and some of them cards will be looking real cool because they can do whatever they want since it's digital. and you can like enter the card, and it plays a little
Oh, that's cool.
cutscene thing or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
of like going through the card and seeing other Pokemon in there or something. But yeah, I mean, it seems like a good thing for collectors, and it'll be a lot cheaper than actually buying cards. You'll get like 2 free packs a week or something. I don't remember much. That seemed cool.
Did it seem as cool as Pokemon Legends A through Z?
I don't know because they didn't really show much of that.
They really
I mean, I'm
didn't.
definitely excited for Pokemon Legends. I heard that the whole thing takes place inside the town, though, or something, which
Huh.
just seems odd.
Maybe it's
I
a
don't know how
really
true that
big
is.
town.
It'd have to be.
Yeah. I don't know. Or maybe it's a much smaller game than Legends Arceus. I
Again,
also
whatever.
saw people speculating that it will have time travel between the past and the future. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not A through Z. It's Z Pokemon Legends Z-A.
Yeah, well, what's that even mean? Z to A? Maybe you
knows?
start in the future and you go back in time. That's it.
But I think I will probably get it. I liked Pokemon Legends
And they said they just have released it like next year, right?
next year. Yeah, so they're taking their time with it. It's not this year rush to get something out 20. But does this mean that it's launching on the next system? Because so much speculation for 2025. That's my year. I say next
Yeah,
system's
that's
2025.
true.
Or will this
Most people
be
think it will be coming out this year.
or will this be the send off to the Switch? This will be like a January release, just like Legends Arceus was.
Could
I
be.
I'd say as Pokemon Company, well, they don't care. They're gonna sell. They're gonna sell out no matter what they do. But as Pokemon Company, it would be a missed opportunity to not put it on the new system.
It'd also be a missed opportunity not to put it on the Switch because there's already so many out in the wild.
Yeah, that's true. Good points. Also, Pokemon was kind of notoriously stubbornly not going to home consoles. They were like, no, we're a handheld game only. Until Nintendo was like, well, now you're gonna be a console game because that is
Yeah,
the
take that.
console. Yeah, so I
Pokemon's
thought
never
that
done
was,
better.
yeah, I thought that was cool news. Excited for that. Hit us with our next news item, Micah.
Nintendo suing the creators of the Nintendo Switch emulator Yuzu. And
Yes.
they've already reached a settlement, I think, for like $2.4 million.
Yeah, it was a lot of money. $2.4 million. And Yuzu will cease to distribute their emulator for both the Switch and they had one for the 3DS as well. I don't remember what that one was called. How do you feel about this?
Yes,
Oh, really?
of course. You know me. My controversial opinion of how Nintendo should sue all the emulators or something, probably.
You're just anti-emulation.
Well, I'm anti all emulations are sketchy, essentially. It seems like almost all emulators are you can do all these sketchy things.
Like
Makes it
piracy,
so easy to get
which is what
off the
Nintendo's-
pirate games.
Yeah, which is what Nintendo's case against Yuzu really was. And Yuzu didn't fight it because supposedly fighting it would have been more expensive than settling out for $2 million. I can't imagine that's the case, but I guess if they lost
You gotta
the
pay
fight,
those lawyers.
yeah, but I guess if they lost the fight, then they would be paying potentially more and have to pay the lawyers. So they were strong armed out of doing it. They did some things that people were not pleased with. So there were a bunch of people that were kind of like celebrating Yuzu getting what they deserved, which I just don't think is fair. I don't think anybody should have to pay $2 million as a punishment for like emulation type stuff. That seems like a lot to me.
Although I did hear they were making like 30,000 a month
A month, yeah.
on Patreon. I mean,
That's
takes
not
a while
enough
to
to
get up to two. Takes a while to get to 2.4 million. But,
Yeah, I was like, that's not enough to make $4 million.
but they were definitely profiting.
Yeah, that's their like fatal flaw was that they were doing a Patreon that was making a significant amount of money. So that's like if they had and they were kind of locking some features behind the Patreon paywall, and there's arguments back and forth on like whether that was okay or not. But it's just a lot of things. I don't side with Nintendo in this case. I think that emulators are good. I like the idea of emulation, and I've done it to play certain games on PC that I wouldn't be able to play.
Tell Nintendo about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're games I own, like Pokemon games that I own, play. But it's ways to play like mods and like different fun like randomizers and stuff. And Nintendo does not provide a service or a way to do that. So
Yeah, that's because they don't like people doing that.
They don't, and I personally don't understand why they don't just like embrace the creativity of their fans. But that's no, it's not that I don't see why. I see why they do it. I just don't agree with it. I like more the practice of like being open for modding as a game
They just
company.
need to make a Mario Maker for every one of their franchises.
Yeah, or just be more chill with. It'd be cool if they put stuff out on PC. That's never gonna happen though. Um,
And
and
since they actually make money on their console sales.
yeah. So, but I have a hard time siding with Nintendo in these cases because I just feel like I would rather there be more freedom for the consumer than less. And Nintendo doesn't need me defending them online on Twitter or whatever. You know, like they're a big corporation.
They're safe and protected behind their big walls of money.
Yeah, they're not our friends. They make cool stuff, but they're not exactly pro consumer all the time. But I will say that people give Nintendo a lot of grief, and they do have a lot of good things going for them that other game companies do not. For one, their like first party quality is top notch, and they're not announcing games like 7 years before they're coming out, except for one.
Yeah, you shut your dirty mouth. That's exactly what they did. I think we're like 3 months away from it being 7 years, actually.
Yeah, but I mean that's like standard practice across the industry. Is like announce a game, show no gameplay, maybe just a title, and then you wait.
They got their
forever.
little cutscene thing that's not gameplay.
Nintendo will almost always show gameplay, and the game's almost always coming out within a year. And that's just really cool from a first party game developer. I mean, speaking of, like, what do we got that's first party that's coming out from Xbox and PlayStation right now, right? Like, they've got a good thing going for them right now.
For PlayStation.
It'll be next year. That's what they said last year, man. Next year's gonna be our year. Anywho, we'll move on to our next news item here. Sega implies that Super Mario Wonder was responsible for Sonic Superstars not performing well in sales, not in game. They launched really close to each other, and Sega was like, "Oh, maybe it was a bad idea to launch our competitor to Mario the same time as Mario."
You don't say.
I have this game and I haven't tried it yet. My son, well, I don't have it. My son has it, and I haven't got a chance to try it out yet. It looked like it would be fun, so I'll have to give this one a go. But I did play Mario Wonder, so what does that say, right?
Yeah.
We played all of Mario Wonder.
There's a little something to this, mayhaps.
Yep. But I don't really have anything to say about
that. To be fair,
that.
I wasn't going to be getting that even if Mario Wonder wasn't coming out at the
That's
same time.
right, because Sonic sucks. Boo! Hey, that's what Micah says.
Shut your dirty mouth. Sonic is cool. Way cooler than the plumbers.
Oh, man, speaking of Sonic, the Sonic Mania team came out with a game today. Or
the yo-yo
recently.
one?
The yo-yo one. Yeah, Penny Yo-Yo Adventure something. I'll just pull it up.
That sounds almost right. Yes, when you pull that up, I'll mention. It seems like all the new icons for the NSO will require you to have played the game or something to buy them.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man.
Which is why we're not getting any Mother 3 icons in the US.
Penny's Big Breakaway is what the game is called. And let me tell you, looking at that game, Penny's Big Breakaway. Sorry, we'll come back to the icons thing because I have words to say about that. Penny's Big Breakaway looks like a good 3D Sonic game. And the reviews of it are pretty positive. And people are like, wow, this game looks really fun. And this game plays really well. And the movement feels really good. And it feels like a 2D Sonic translated to 3D. Who'd have thought that the team behind Sonic Mania would make a better 3D Sonic game than the Sonic team? They just need to give up.
Maybe it's a better Sonic game because it's not Sonic.
Yeah, maybe. But they could seriously just replace Penny with Sonic, and they would have very similar aesthetic and get like Sonic Team just needs to give up and just hire these guys to be.
Sonic doesn't have a yo-yo. Doesn't make any sense.
No, they could just give him like a little whip thing, or it could just be Sonic and he could have all the yo-yo attacks. It would be a pretty easy 1-to-1, I think. But either way, my point still stands. The Sega's Sonic development team, probably fantastic people, great people. Yeah, time to give up. Time to Time to get another studio the IP, and you just license it out, and they make the good games.
It's probably all that upper management pressure that they don't have because it's not Sonic.
Yeah, but Sonic Mania was really good, and that probably had upper management pressure. They're probably like, we'll let the fans make their fan game, and we'll profit off of it.
Exactly.
Joke's on you, Sega. You know, this is why you lost the console war.
Can they let their fans make games?
No, because they suck. Oh, God! I'm just taking the opportunity to dump all over Sega today. But yeah, let's go back to icons. Let's dump on Nintendo now. What the heck is this? This is the dumbest rule.
On anyone.
This is the dumbest. You have to have played the game to unlock the icon. At that point, the icons should come with the purchase of the game.
Maybe.
Why can't you? Why are they making you play a game to unlock the JPEG in order to put in your tiny little user profile circle? You have to buy the game and play it?
Stop all these fake fans.
That's dumb.
Creating.
That's so dumb. Because, like, for example, what if we get some Paper Mario Thousand Year Door icons? You're a huge fan of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. You weren't planning on picking up... I mean, you want to, but you're not necessarily planning on picking up that game.
Well, yeah, I'll just show them I've played on the GameCube. I'm sure there'll be an easy fix.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a way to submit that you've played... Oh, I played this series, but I didn't get the latest game.
Yeah,
this is
it's
dumb.
Not the latest game. It's a remake.
This is dumb.
Game.
I don't care what anybody says. This is absolutely ridiculous and should not be a requirement to unlocking icons. You're already paying silver coins that you have to earn. Like, Nintendo, what are you doing? You're like, oh, here's... And I cannot stand when you get a service for free, or you get a thing, and then it's taken away or charged for after. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The old bait and switch, that's when I leave. That's when I'm out. I'm like, all right, I'm not getting any of these icons then. Screw you guys. I'm riled up today, Micah. I'm riling myself up. Yeah, I feel yep. Also, can we get mad that they didn't put third strongest mole as an icon? Come on, man.
Well, which one would it have been?
They all have the same.
They're all the same.
Just
They're
put
different
third
moles.
strongest mole in. That would have been so cool. Sam would have been able to have the third strongest mole icon forever.
Assuming he played Earthbound on the Switch.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he's like, I never played it on the Switch. But also, I think he uses Monty Mole. At least he did for a bit. Just other moles are available for all you mole fans out there. Let's talk about our next news item. Let's just move right along here. It's time for another Splatfest. This time the question is, which instrument would you play? Drums, guitar, or keyboard? What's your pick here, Micah?
Probably gotta go with keyboard.
Were you about to say keyboard? Yeah, I think
I'm
going to go with
guitar, but then I started to say keyboard for some reason.
So I'm a dead even here for keyboard versus guitar as far as like instruments that I enjoy. I think both are really fun, but guitar has a cooler ink color, so go with.
And the guitar players get all the ladies.
But one thing we can agree on is that drums, no drums.
Drums suck.
Yeah, we just alienate every
That's all I
drummer in
gotta
our
say
audience.
about that.
Yeah, yeah, we're fighting today.
Our audience members are too cool to play drums.
Right. Anybody in our audience that plays drums, what are you doing here? No, just kidding. We appreciate you being here, but don't worry, we'll convert you to guitar. We can make you cool. And then in addition to that, we're getting some Splatoon 2 gear returning to
more than
for
150 pieces of gear.
Yeah. Also, the DLC dropped. We didn't even talk about that. I haven't picked it up.
Oh yeah, I haven't either.
I want to though. This looks fun. It's a roguelike, Splatoon roguelike. So it's low on my priority list, but it's one I want to get. That's how I'm feeling.
You'll never end up getting it.
I think you should get it.
Never end up playing
I think you should for sure get it to talk about on the podcast at least, because
Okay,
Splatoon's your
eventually.
game. You're playing it every week.
Except for 2 weeks ago.
So maybe Micah will be back to report on that. Speaking of Micah reporting, what's our next news item?
Lego is doing a March 10 Mario Day sale.
Oh, hot diggity dog.
So things will only be mildly bank breaking.
True. Yeah, they're like they're also, aren't they announcing a new set as well?
There's something.
Also, this podcast
this
goes live the day after Mario Day. Happy Mario Day, everybody. Wow, it took us 45 minutes to say that. Thank you for... I didn't realize it was this close. I didn't realize we were like on the day. There you go, March 10th. What are you doing for Mario Day? We should do something. We should play some Mario. Do you have any Mario games we can play together? We have a lot, actually. Mario Maker. We got basically any of the original Marios on NSO. Do a Mario Hour run. You don't want to dust off the old
Absolutely not.
the old Mario speed running?
Absolutely not. I don't remember the routes for that anymore.
Well, do you remember the next news item? What were we going to say next? Sorry. Or was that the next news item?
I think that was it.
Do you remember the next news item? Because the next news item is Octopath Traveler was mysteriously pulled off of the Nintendo Switch eShop for digital sales. And this is probably due to publisher changeover. And Nintendo was like, well, if we're not publishing it, it's not on here anymore, even though the second one still is. And that one I don't think was Nintendo. Maybe back up at this point. I have not checked. I guess I can check right now. But yeah, I'll look into that while Micah hits us with our next news item.
Birthday to the Nintendo Switch.
Happy birthday.
That happened at some point.
Happy birthday.
On the 3rd.
7 years old?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
27 years old. Oh, no, it's wild. So that's like how old one of my kids is. It's like, it's wild that it's been that long. It feels like it shouldn't have been that long. In this same vein, I was listening. I decided to randomly try out listening to the radio. Oh, wait. Octopath Traveler, not available for purchase. It's still here, but it's not available for purchase. And it says it released. That's so weird. What? I was listening to the radio, and was tuning through stations. I have an XM radio player in my vehicle. I don't pay for XM stuff, but it was like grandfathered in. We had an unlimited plan. It was my wife's car from when she was a teenager, and they got it with an unlimited plan, and it was not transferable to other cars, so it's just permanently in that car. XM radio that they only paid for the one time or whatever. Anywho, it has like radio stations for each of the decades of music. So I like tuned into the 80s to the 70s, and like I'll just jump between the different eras. And the song came on, my kids are in the back. I'm like, oh yeah, this song came out in the 80s. I was like, that was over 40 years ago. and then I was like, wait a second. In my mind, the 80s was 20 years ago. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah,
What
20 years
happened?
ago. Still the 2000s.
Yeah, it's the 2000s. It's 20 years ago. So when you think like music from 20 years ago is like freaking like modern music in my mind, and then I'm like, well, what is music now? And then I turn to a station on there. They have TikTok radio, and I'm like, I've never heard of any of these. Oh no! I looked in the mirror and saw my hair turn gray. I'm like, oh,
All the gray hairs coming in.
Yeah,
Your nose and your hair's getting really long.
I'm dying. Anyways, this is your for all of our fantastic listeners that are old. To put it kindly, this is your reminder that the 80s was so long ago. What happened? The 90s was so long ago. What happened? There's a station for the 2010s. I'm like, what? That's now. Wait, no, it's not. We're halfway through the 22. Okay. Existential crisis over. Happy birthday, Switch. Let's go to our next news item. To celebrate Mario Day, there's a Mario 8 Deluxe Open from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. So Nintendo's hosting a tournament for that. Pretty exciting. Next, Micah. Hit us with the next one.
Speaking of exciting, who could have guessed that Prince of Persia, the Ubisoft game that came out recently, is $20 off? Only $30 now.
What? No way.
I don't know. Who could have possibly seen that coming?
Ubisoft has conditioned their fan base and audience to pay $20 for their games. They really have screwed themselves over. They're never going to be able to sell a game at full price.
I mean, I guess I don't really know how well it was selling, but I mean, it's been reviewing very well. So it just seems weird.
That is already discounted.
2 months after it's already discounted by almost half off.
Well, you can use all that money that you saved buying Prince Persia to maybe buy this Toyota-engineered Pokemon Violet Miraidon real-life motorcycle. This is a real thing.
It might cost a little more than $20.
Yes, but you could use that $20 in addition to the however some odd
$3 million already had.
Is it $3 million?
I mean, this seems like a one-of-a-kind kind of thing that isn't for sale, so...
I want it. It looks so cool.
Does it actually run and is safe?
Probably does.
This doesn't look functional. The front wheel, I mean, I guess that's just a wheel cover. They don't show the bottom of it. It's so low to the ground. The actual wheel is hidden by the fake Maridon wheel, and you'd have to be driving on the flattest ground in the world. I don't even know how this would work. It's got
Listen,
that big
let's
hole
not
in
think
the
about
middle.
it too much. We'll just hope it's cool. Princess Peach Showtime dropped a demo, so you can try that game out. We'll report back on how the demo was in our next episode. I haven't given it a full try yet, but so far it looks good. What else we got, Micah? What else we got in the world of news?
It's like the Unicorn Overlord developer, Vanillaware, ran out of money during the development, so the CEO stepped in and funded the rest of the project.
I don't quite understand how the like. Okay, if you're the CEO, isn't that just a business expense? Like, what do you mean? That's like
I think it's their own personal money they get paid for being the CEO.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's the dumbest thing. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, we ran out of money, so we ended up having to pay for it. It's like, yeah, that's how these things work, right?
I had to cut into my $1 million salary to fund the development.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, he probably makes
But
a modest
I
salary.
do wonder how much money
It's the Unicorn
they did have
Overlord
to use.
Japan developed? I think it is. And if so, then they're not making crazy salaries because Japanese CEOs don't make the massive, insane salaries that
Yeah, they don't make
CEOs
90% of the profits.
It's ridiculous. Western video game companies, like big companies, evil. Most of them are just straight evil. Especially like the corporate oversight. They're just taking oodles and oodles of money for nothing. Like, okay.
Branding scheme's pretty good.
And that's all we got to talk about with news. I think that's it. So, Micah, let's move out of the realm of news and into the realm of rumor with the rumor mill. I don't think there's anything to talk about here.
There's Paper Mario and Luigi Mansion news coming for March 10th, but that doesn't necessarily feel like substantial or substantiated. I feel like that's just, hey, these games kind of have Mario in them. Mario Day.
Could happen, yeah. So there you go. That's all we got to talk about in the rumor mill. Let's head over to the community corner. The community corner. There's no music. I don't know. Okay, well, whatever. I guess we're here in the community corner. We've got a few questions that we can answer here. The first is from LPD, who asks, "What is the most delicious looking food that you've seen in video games?" Also, I didn't even explain what the community corner is. This is where our community members ask us questions. Hit us up on Discord, Twitter, in the replies of whatever video or podcast service you're using. If we see the question, we'll answer it. I like to throw that little "if we see the question."
Just in case.
Just in case we don't see it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. You're picking up what I'm putting down. So what's the most delicious food you've seen in video games, Micah?
The most delicious food in a video game is always the game I'm currently playing. Whatever game I am playing at the time, that game has the best looking food. No. I'm not trying to get you to guess a certain game. Just whatever game I happen to be playing at the time.
Oh, so
Has the best food. In other words, a cop out answer.
I know. I was just I knew what you meant the first time. It's just being I'm just being
what they
dumb.
all say.
Yeah. I couldn't keep it up. I was gonna guess another game, but I couldn't think of another one off the top of my head.
Well, the problem is that at that point I would have probably thought, I don't think Andros is this dumb, but I don't know for sure.
And I started laughing. I can't do any bits, man. Okay. Well, that's a cop-out answer.
But I know what the best water is from.
It's lame.
Absolutely Origami King.
Absolutely Origami King. Best looking food in video games. I haven't really given this a whole lot of thought, but I will say that like Pokemon has a really good looking food.
Pokemon games?
Yeah.
When do they even show food?
Those sandwiches you make in Scarlet and Violet, but also
I mean, I can see those every time I go to Subway.
I feel like there's like a food icon that you can look at.
You just go and look at it, you're like, wow, that food looks good.
Yes. What am I thinking of here?
I have no idea.
Oh no, I completely messed that up.
Pokemon Snap.
No. It's Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. That's my answer. That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of that and the menu food, like the menu items for the meal.
There's some good looking food in there.
That all looks
sure.
So good. Yeah, that's. Oh my goodness! I got a really loud ad on the website. Holy cow! Okay, so you're not going to give a better answer than that? Then
No,
the game
I
you're
mean,
currently playing.
my honest answer probably was Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, but I knew you would take that, and
Yeah, is it? No, I think you just didn't
such an
remember.
obvious choice.
Okay, well, what's our next question then?
So I decided to branch out with
Yeah.
a unique answer.
Yeah, a unique answer that was not even remotely
did
unique.
we ever answer that D&D class one in real life?
No, we didn't. Let's answer that one.
It's by Fedorable Will. If you could have a D&D class in real life and get the powers from it as you level up in life, what class would you pick?
Bard.
Bard.
Yeah, easy.
Everything you can do as a bard, you can do in real life
I know.
by just regularly practicing.
By just being myself. Charisma.
I mean-
Roll for charisma. Everybody will want to watch my streams. Boom.
Isn't there a class that gets access to like a wish spell or something obscene? What? At what point in real life do I get that? Doesn't even matter if I get that because it's a wish that I can do whatever I want with, and I can grant myself immortality every long rest or something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like reasonably the magic classes would be OP in real life.
Right, turning into an owlbear? What a cool party trick that would be.
Hey, look at me. Destroyed the house a little bit.
Or you can turn into that dinosaur we found out, if Baldur's Gate is to be believed.
Yeah, that's true. Like Velociraptor thing.
It was like a Diplodon or something weird. I remember having kind of a weird name. Oh my goodness, did you know that Wish is a 9-level spell that bards can learn?
Oh, perfect. I think I'm going to stick with my bard answer because you get like really high persuasion, so you can persuade people to do things, right? You're just like a really good conversationalist.
I mean,
I'd probably get like promotions at work. I wouldn't even need to work. I
cares
could
about
play.
promotions at work when you can make wishes?
I know you can play. I can play music and just get money and be really good at playing music.
Not much money, at least in Baldur's Gate. All my D&D experience is Baldur's Gate, essentially.
Yeah, same
And
here.
they're like, here's a single coin, which I equate to like a nickel or something.
I mean, it's gold in that game. It's just worth a lot, IRL.
There's apparently a lot of gold in that game.
Yeah.
We'd probably go with a wizard, because I don't remember what the difference between a wizard and a sorcerer is.
Sorcerers need a like patron, right? Or is that warlocks?
No, that's warlocks.
Okay, then I can't remember which one's which. One of them is learned magic and the other is inherited. And then warlocks are, I got it from a patron. some guy.
Wait a second. There's a 33% chance that you're unable to cast Wish ever again if you suffer stress.
Oh no,
From
we're screwed. We can't use that spell.
Casting Wish?
We can't use
What
that
sort of
spell.
malarkey is this?
We're both way too stressed people. I'm still gonna go.
Well,
gonna
first
go
wish would make me immune to stress. Bam. Problem solved. Then I just gotta take a long nap.
a long rest.
And then I get another wish.
That was a fun.
That or being able to jump like 30 meters. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Just be a warrior.
that was a fun question. I like thinking about all of these things. Our next question comes from Presto from Off the Wall. Presto says, "What's the most obscure Nintendo published game that you've played?"
That's a good question.
It is a good question. Looking it up on the side here because I'm trying to think. I could pull out my collection of games.
Like obscure.
That's
I feel
Nintendo
like there are
published.
very many obscure Nintendo published games.
I think I'm gonna go with my gut answer here is Photo Dojo for the DSi.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's pretty obscure. Very fun game. Yeah. You got an answer?
Nothing. And Googling obscure Nintendo games is not helping at all.
How do you feel about putting down like crossbow training?
Yeah, I mean, that's a Zelda game. Even if it's an obscure Zelda game,
Photo Dojo's my answer.
that is a good one. I feel like, yeah, DS and 3DS are probably the best games for that. I'm looking around to try and find my Game Boy games and whatnot.
Yeah. So that's what
I
I
don't
was
see
like, I
the-
should like pull out my collection and see what Nintendo published.
Yeah, I don't feel like I mean, I'm thinking of Desert Storm, but that's not Nintendo published. I'm relatively confident, at least.
Did Nintendo publish that one Wii shooter game that was kind of like an arcade shooter?
Ghost Squad.
Ghost Squad?
I think that was Sega, actually.
Was it Sega? Okay. That would have been a good answer too.
I also don't even know which of my games are Nintendo published.
Yeah, I think the way to do it here
Gladius
is
is pretty obscure.
it's not Nintendo published.
That's not Nintendo published.
No.
That's LucasArts. Let's see.
Yeah, there's like Pilot Wings is one I think is kind of more obscure. The Legend of Starfy, the legendary Starfy. Sorry, the Legend of Starfy.
played Balloon Fight quite a bit on the Wii U. That one's like almost obscure. Yeah.
If it wasn't
I
so
feel like
famous.
it's like famous and whatnot, but essentially no one's played it
Right.
unless you're old, like real old.
I'm going through this list here. There's a lot of good ones. Famicom Detective Club, Bat and Kaitos, Captain Rainbow, Panel de Pon. Panel de Pon?
That's Nintendo published. I guess that makes sense.
That's
That is
probably
probably the best
yeah, I was
one.
gonna say that's probably the best one out of the list I'm looking at here. Good
Yep.
question. Ask us our next one here.
Asked by LPD, what Zelda game will be the basis for the movie? What character won't make the cut? And then in parentheses they have Tingle? Question mark?
I don't think Tingle will be in the movie. Cut him out of so
Oh,
many
yeah.
games.
Thank goodness. I don't think any of the games will be a basis.
Really?
And if they did, it would have to be Ocarina of Time because people are weird.
Yeah.
Nostalgia sells.
I think so. Which one do you think translates the best to film? Not necessarily which one they'll pick, but like which one translates best to film.
Wind Waker.
Why?
Because it's the best.
That's not no. I'm talking about like games that like lend themselves to like a really cinematic.
It's probably actually got to be Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom because they only have like 4 dungeons
Right.
per se.
Right.
And the other one's like, you can't be like, oh, you got to go to the 8 dungeons in this movie.
Yeah, it would have to be like a montage for like Ocarina of Time. I imagine collecting the medallions would be more montage like. I don't know how that would work.
They just have to cut out like they just get the one medallion.
Or it's just
but
or they make it a like trilogy, which actually would do well. It would lend itself
but
well
at the
to
same
multiple
time
movies.
you have to like there's not really a lot of story content in Zelda games.
Depends
At
on the
least in
game.
some.
And that's why I was going to say the one that I think lends itself to like a good cinematic is Twilight Princess, except for the whole Twilight stuff. I don't think that would look fair. It wouldn't work well and it wouldn't look good, which is like half of the game.
Half the game.
Yeah, I know. I know, but the half where it's Link and there's not like the wolf Link and stuff, I think is like very cinematic-y and very story heavy. But yeah, I think they'll probably either do Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild. Both would be fun watches, I think. But Ocarina of Time, I think, would lend itself better to multiple movies. One
like 0 actual content. It's like there's
Right.
just a lot. It just
For
people
sure.
go to a lot of dungeons. There's not a lot of story.
I mean, there is,
per
and
se.
there isn't. I
I'm pretty
think
sure there's like 17 lines of dialogue in that whole game. It just feels like hours upon hours because the text speed is so wildly slow.
good opportunity for you to knock on the dialogue boxes in that game. Yeah, I think if they did that, it would be like the movie would end with Child Link
Getting old.
pulling the sword out and like shh, and then Child Link transforms and oh my gosh, it's
Oh no, he's home.
Tom
Squidward. So good.
guy
Bruce?
Spider-Man Tom Holland.
Oh, Tom Holland.
Oh no, it's Tom Holland.
It's
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Tom
I
Cruise.
think it'd be better as John Cena.
He pulls the sword out and just becomes John Cena. Nah, it'll be Tom Holland or Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, like, just resigning to the fact that it's going to be some huge star that doesn't even fit for the role, really. But whatever.
You don't think Timothy could do that?
He probably could. He's got quite a range. He was Willy Wonka, and he was also whatever that. I just know the sound more than the.
Does he make that sound? In
Oh,
Dune?
that's just the soundtrack that plays.
I guess what character won't make the cut?
I think they're gonna cut
Is Tinkle
Zelda.
in? Is Tinkle in?
They cut Zelda out of the Legend of Zelda movie.
Ocarina of Time? And they had to change the name to Legend of Link.
Legend of Zinc.
It's just a ball of metal rolling around.
All right, let's see here. They cut Rivali. Yeah, we're like, yeah.
No, they don't cut him. He just gets humiliated and dies horribly, very, very early for some reason.
He's already dead in the game.
Yeah, but they have those flashbacks.
The thing about
Is Tingle even in Ocarina of Time?
no, he's not. He was first
I was like,
introduced
yeah, I
in
was like,
Majora's
I don't
Mask.
remember him in.
Yeah.
I don't know who they'd even cut then.
The thing, okay, let's backtrack a little bit here because now that I'm thinking about it, they can't do Breath of the Wild. There's no Ganondorf. A Zelda
This guy
movie
skips
without
through Tears of the
Ganondorf
Kingdom.
would be a crime.
It's got to be Wind Waker then.
It's gonna be Wind Waker.
He'd be the best
I
on
think
screen.
what we're learning here is it's gonna be Ocarina of Time.
Nah, it'd be Wind Waker then. He'd be the best
honestly, Tears of the King. If they just merge Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom into one game, yes,
It'd have to be multiple movies, though.
yeah,
They would have to give hints to Ganondorf in the Breath of the Wild movie, setting it up for the second one or something.
No, I think they could just. I think they could just have Breath of the Wild, but in the end or throughout. Okay, so we follow loosely the same story as Breath of the Wild, but instead, no, Tears of the Kingdom is fine. Let's just start at Tears of the Kingdom. Boom. Except we have the beginning of Breath of the Wild, where he wakes up in the chamber. It's like, whoa, the Sheikah, whoa, and then he comes out and the island.
Just montage for 5 minutes. Breath of the Wild.
No, it's not montage for Breath of the Wild. They just combined the games to make this movie. So
I don't think that'd work well.
So the Sheikah technology from Breath of the Wild was actually Zonai technology, or whatever they want to use. They'll probably use Sheikah. It's more popular, like more mainstream. And then they just do Tears of the Kingdom, because Tears of the Kingdom I think is solid, with the exception of like it's a sequel. Like that's a solid one to make a movie with. It's got great characters. I think if they're going to cut characters, so now that we've established that's going to be Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, like a combo of those two, what characters from those will be cut?
Play Rivali.
I don't think they're going to cut Rivali. I think we'll have, because they're just like
I can't get off of cutting Rivali.
He's too good of a character, though. I know, but that's why he's good to put into the movie. I would rather have the 4 champions rather than the 4 whatever things we got in Tears of the Kingdom, the 4 sages that have no name. Nobody knows who they are. They wear a mask the whole time. Not the new sages.
Yeah,
let me clarify.
Like,
yeah, not the new sages.
Sidon?
No. But those guys were also in the previous game. Who's gonna get cut? Robbie, the scientist.
Oh yeah.
He'll probably get cut. They'll probably cut out
Joshua.
You think they'll cut out Joshua? I feel like they would.
So the other person's name I can think of.
That would be like the very Hollywood thing to do, to put in some like young actress playing Joshua, and like, oh, look, she's so relatable to the kids. You know? No, what's the Sheikah girl's name that is embarrassed?
Starts with the P. It's actually the first person I can think of.
Paya?
I couldn't remember their name. Paya or something, right? Paya. And then she becomes like leader of the village or something.
Yeah,
right?
She's gonna get cut. It's just gonna be Impa. And then like every named character besides. Who are they keeping? They're keeping the new sages. They're keeping the champions. They're keeping Link. They're keeping Zelda. They're keeping Purah. Everybody else, and Impa and Ganondorf. Everybody else, not going to have a name. There's not going to be like named anybody. Okay, they'll have the Deku Tree. Deku Tree's got to be in it.
God, he's in there actually.
Yeah. Well, he plays a much bigger role in Breath of the Wild than Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom, he's completely optional.
Does he play?
Yeah, Breath of the Wild. That's where the sword is. Sure. That's where the sword is.
You don't need the sword.
If they don't get the sword in the movie, people will buy it.
Obviously, they'll be getting the sword.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need it in the game.
Yep. This is what they're doing. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom combo is my vote, and you're voting Wind Waker.
Yep, because it's the best one.
Yeah,
the best on-screen game.
Oh yeah, that was. We were really heavy in that question. Let's go to the next question. That was a good question, LBD. This one is on Spotify from Ayla, aka your fave sibling. Is this one of our siblings?
That I know of.
Could be. I don't have a sibling named Ayla, but they could be using a big name. This could be Max.
Okay. Funny to find out.
No, Ayla, you're good. Hey, I think that's just the username that Ayla went with. It says, would you recommend Pokemon Scarlet/Violet or Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? I like the way Eevee and Pikachu work and how you play it, because it reminds me of Pokemon Go. But Scarlet and Violet have better Pokemon, aka my favorite, Lechonk. So preference between the two. What do you say, Micah?
I played like the demo
of Let's Go.
Pikachu and Eevee. Let's Go, yeah. So I would have to say Scarlet and Violet, because I thought those were pretty good.
So I have played both. I did not finish Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu because I found it to be a little boring. It's basically an easier version of Pokemon Red. I think so. Here's my suggestion: is if you want to introduce someone to the series, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are a great starting point. I think it's designed to be that way, but it's especially great for kids because the catching mechanic is much simpler. But in most other regards, I think like 90% of the time, I'm going to recommend Pokemon Scarlet and Violet over it. I like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet a lot. It's flawed, but but really fun. Got a lot of fun. That's my answer. I'm sticking to it. It's our next question. Yeah, give a thumbs up. That really helps for the audio listeners.
Sucks to be them.
You better be watching the video version of the podcast over on YouTube or Spotify.
That's right.
That's the
like
only.
Maybe it's my lighting. I feel like I look very unhealthy today.
Yeah, you've moved. We didn't even talk about that, but you've moved. You're in a new studio of sorts or a new place.
Yep.
You need to get like a lamp.
It's quite as well lit or something.
You need to get like a lamp.
My eyes just look so shadowed.
Yeah, you need like something giving you forward light. And speaking of, hold on.
It is. I just gotta turn the brightness up on my monitor.
Oh, you can't even tell.
Bam. Now I look way better, right?
But I put color changing lights. You can kind of see it reflecting off my pasty white skin. Color changing light bulb in there. Smart lights. That's pretty cool. See, it turned blue. What?
I actually couldn't tell.
Really? Okay, there we go. That's the most
kind of blue.
reflective part of my arm, turning purple now.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
I like how this is how I'm showing off my new lights. Like, hey, look at my shiny arm. Okay, now it's turning. I think it'll turn red from here. Oh, that's
actually I can see it off the door of the fort better.
Yeah,
turning red.
Yeah, well, right here, because then it will actually light me. But I don't know. Still figuring things out. Anyways, next question here comes from Maddie Beth. You want to ask that one?
Yep. Asking if Nintendo ever wanted to bring back Plok and end up making a 3D sequel of the game, do you think it would work? Why or why not? Be honest with yourself.
Don't know. I really don't know what they would do. If it's following the same mechanics as the original, which is like hunt the fleas to get to the goal, like I guess that could work. But there's something charming about kind of having this like open 2D level that I think wouldn't be as much the case. Now, if they did something like Mario 64 level design, where it's like a sandbox, or like Mario Odyssey, like cut, like this is the level, I could see that working. But I think more likely what would happen, if anything happens, is we get a new 2D block adventure that would just be enhanced or upgraded.
Yeah. I think they could make it 3D. I think they'd have to change things up a bit. I don't think a lot of things would translate as well.
Right.
And it could theoretically maybe be pretty good. But I think it would sell about 8 games.
Well, we know at least 8 of our community members would buy it, and you think that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
I'll buy. Actually, all 8 copies will be me having bought all 8 copies. I'm doing my part. I'm helping out
for democracy.
But yeah, I don't know how well it would translate to 3D. It's the leap from 2D to 3D is very difficult. Some games that lend themselves well to it, like Risk of Rain. Risk of Rain 2. Mario, I think, made a very good transition from 2D to 3D. Sonic, I feel like the transition to 3D was when Sonic got bad.
I thought you were doing your Dune impression again for a second there.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. There is like it's the 2D to 3D era was a rough transition. So I almost think it would be better if they just like reimagined the game at that point. They're gonna go 3D. Do something different than what they did formula-wise for the original.
Make it a Call of Duty clone, but you're shooting your limbs at people first-person style.
I'd have fun with it. I would. I will buy anything with Plok on it. Right?
Anything.
Except for I wasn't a fan of the comics. I'm gonna be real. The comics were a little sad. They were like just really like self-deprecating humor, like, oh man, has-been video game characters. What a has-been. That's
very
the
accurate,
joke.
then.
That's the joke.
I'm thinking I'm gonna go pick up Prime Remastered and put a little Plok sticker on it and sell that back to you.
At markup.
Oh, of course. That's a $60 game right there.
All right. Well, that's all the questions we have in the community corner. So what do you say we flipped the script here? And instead of doing the community corner, we do the last week we asked you. And last week we asked you which generation of Nintendo console is best and why. Micah, hit us with our first answer.
Blondie says GameCube because it has the best games.
I think I replied to that one. It said we can't feed Micah's ego or his fanboyisms.
I'm going to say LOL JK. I think Switch because it does both handheld and TV while having a lot of old remakes, aka most of the great GameCube games.
It does have a lot of good GameCube ports. GameCube does have a good library, though. Can we just say that? And a great controller. Pretty good controller.
Absolutely.
And good form factor. Little handle, you carry the
First
and what a cool name.
portable. That's what I was thinking.
GameCube is a cool name.
Way better than Xbox. What does that even mean?
Well, it was a box with an X on it.
Nice.
They're from the same era of like, let's just name it what it is. And PlayStation was like, this is a station that you play on. And they just never got out of that. Okay, so then our next answer here comes from Third Strongest Mole, aka Sam, says he'd say either the Super Nintendo Game Boy era. No, he'd say that's his pick. Super Nintendo Game Boy with Wii DS in second.
Sound like someone who didn't play a lot of GameCube games right there.
I don't know. I like Super Nintendo and Game Boy era are really good. There are a lot of great games. And you had a lot of strong first-party support, because this is before the big three, when there was only the big two. And one of those big two was Sega, so, I mean, come on. Not a lot of competition, so Nintendo owned the playing field.
That's Sega Genesis, first console.
That's why you love the GameCube so much, because you came in late.
I played all those 64 games. They just weren't as good as...
On what? The Sega
Genesis.
The Sega Genesis was not competing with the N64.
Character had the chicken head.
The Sega Genesis was competing with the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and it still held up to be even better than the 64 or something.
I don't think that's true. I agree with Sam's answers. I think those are two really good eras. But there's also 3DS and Wii U. 3DS has a really good library. No, but DS is better library because it had backwards compatibility for Game Boy Advance, and you also had like DSi, so it was like starting into the like digital, the eShop. So I agree with these, except I put Switch on top. But I think I then go. I think I might go Wii DS, but Nintendo. Well, but he points out in one of the things. So let's go through his arguments here, or his points for this. Super Nintendo edges out the Wii DS because Nintendo was still getting premium third-party efforts at that point. Because in the Wii, they did not. I mean, that's pretty well documented that they were like the last to be thought of for like the premium third-party groups, right? It also carried the momentum from the NES, which showed dramatic improvement in games across its lifetime. So look at original Mario and Mario 3. You know, you see like the progression. So like Super Nintendo had all the best parts of the NES in its development. The core 2D genres like platformers were well enough understood that developers really knew what they were doing from day one. Good points. But the Wii and 3DS together showed so much creativity that they were doing entirely new things. Those are the points there. And this same argument, I think, can be a big pro for GameCube as well, right? N64 was their first foray into the 3D gaming space. And then I feel like GameCube is where things really got refined and the 3D aspect was good. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, it was... yeah. There's a reason that everybody's still playing Smash Bros. Melee and not Smash Bros. 64, right? Like they took the games on N64 and just like massively improved them, with the exception of Mario Sunshine.
That's a funny one because it's not true.
It is true. Read us our next answer, Micah.
Given by Maddie Beth. Definitely the Wii/DS era because it had the best games. And also, it was my childhood.
Oh, and here is what we're actually seeing happen, right? I think everybody's just going to say that the one that was their most influential as a child, like in their that like defined their childhood generation, is probably the best one. And I think there's also a fight against recency bias as well. You'll be like, well, I can't pick the latest because that's just because it's the
Speak
latest.
For yourself.
Yeah, that. I think it's just like totally fair to say like, yeah, it was my childhood. That era was my childhood, and that's probably why I feel that way about Super Nintendo, and probably why you feel that way about GameCube, because it's like one of the systems you played the most in the most.
In my situations, because it had the best games.
I think it's the most formative years, and for you, that was a lot later in life
the best
than for
games.
Me. So yeah, it's I think it shows a level of maturity.
If it was my childhood, I'd be saying the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, and then you'd be kicked off the show because that's just wrong.
So it's not necessarily the childhood.
No,
it's just the best games.
Tell me the GameCube was not part of your childhood. It totally was.
Of course, it was part of the childhood.
How
So was
old
the
were
Wii.
you when you got a GameCube?
So was the 64. I don't know. When did the GameCube come out? It's like a 2002 thing, right? Seems too early.
GameCube release date. Now I gotta look it up. It's
2001.
Ah,
But when did I get a GameCube?
that's a good question.
So we were given the choice between the Xbox and the GameCube, actually.
And you chose right,
Absolutely.
which was GameCube, right?
Yeah.
You're about to tell me Xbox? I thought you were gonna play a bit
And I
there.
pull up my Xbox I've had the whole time.
Yeah, so dude, I'm like 10 years old. Not even when it came out. So I
also
think it was
played the
pretty.
64 before that.
It's pretty. That's a pretty integral and important part of like the formative years of life, where you're developing strong opinions that you will be set in your ways for the rest of eternity.
Some people would say that.
I would. About you?
Other
and
people
GameCube?
adapt.
Yeah. You
Just
have
gotta
it.
say that's not how I feel about the 64 though.
Yeah. Did you
Saying.
have a 64?
Oh, I played all the games on 64.
You didn't have it though.
No, I didn't have it.
Yeah,
but I
okay.
did play Ocarina of Time and Mario 64.
See, my childhood systems.
and Pokemon Snap.
Right. My childhood system
Classic
is
Hey
the
You
Super
Pikachu.
Nintendo because we didn't go past that one. When the GameCube came out in 2001, that's when I got an N64. And then we jumped to the Wii. So I think coming back to the point where I'm like, yeah, the Super Nintendo era.
So
and
the
also
only
Wii
reason you're
era.
not saying GameCube is because you never had a GameCube. It all makes sense.
Yeah, but I had a Wii, and that's just basically a GameCube.
Is it though? Did you play any GameCube games on it?
I
did. You?
did.
Did you play any GameCube games
Yes,
on it?
I did.
Any of the good ones? Which ones?
I don't remember which GameCube games we had,
That's what I thought.
but we had some
Yeah.
because we had the GameCube controller.
Maybe you said it for your collection.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good answer for Maddie Beth. Spider-Shan says that the SNES and Game Boy era is his sentimental favorite. He does love the GameCube and Game Boy Advance era as well. Yeah, you're discounting that era. You're forgetting that Game Boy Advance in there as well because there's a lot of good Game Boy Advance games.
I was gonna bring that up. Golden Sun was on Game Boy Advance.
Yep. He says I wasn't in a position to play a lot of the games at the time because he just gotten married.
So he didn't get to play a lot of the GameCube games. Makes sense that he wouldn't choose GameCube era then.
The Switch is probably best, though, since it encompasses so many of the other eras. And then he says, hot take, the N64 is my least favorite, even though there are a few absolute classics that came. Would you say the same? I think you're going to
I
say
don't
the same.
think that take is that hot.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty hot take. People love the N64. But again, it's because that's what they played. It's their childhood. It's the same way it's the same reason you love the GameCube.
I think it's because the GameCube had really good games.
That's what people on the
Keep
N64
discounting
say.
the really good games part.
That's what people that love the N64 say.
No, they say 2 games. Those 2 games aren't as good as I actually remember.
2 games.
Yeah.
No. No, the N64 has a killer library.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, Mario 64, Ocarina of
Confused
Time,
this.
Pokemon Snap. There's 3.
Oh, no, that was one of the 2 games I was talking about. Pokemon Snap. It was Pokemon Snap and Hey You Pikachu. We're carrying
Hey You Pikachu.
64 library.
There's all of the rare games. Golden Sun. I've got to think of the other rare games. We got Perfect.
Golden Sun.
Golden game. A golden game. But like GoldenEye.
I played GoldenEye on NSO, and I gotta say,
doesn't hold up.
that game is garbage.
Does not hold
Like,
up.
it's-
It
And
was
there was some
amazing
slight
for
delay.
the time. All right. All right.
That was some delay when we were playing online as well, but
Yeah.
that game was so hard to control.
Mario Kart, Smash Bros. Ball on the
No.
N64. Are you sure about that? You're not sure.
But it wasn't a good one. I'm relatively confident Monkey Ball 1 and 2 were both GameCube.
It had Superman, renowned as being a horrible game.
I feel like you haven't mentioned any
Mario parties.
series that doesn't have a better version.
Well, yeah,
GameCube.
but I mean, Star Fox 64.
Yeah, but up on me.
It doesn't have a better version. The thing is, like, a lot of the better versions are just straight remakes of the same game. Star Fox 64, they're like Star Fox 64 3D. Ocarina of Time,
You talking about?
Ocarina of Time 3D. Majora's Mask 3D. Wave Race,
What are you talking about? Yeah, they got
Conker's-
Wave Race on GameCube too.
Conker's Bad Fur Day, Pokemon Stadium, F-Zero,
Wind Waker,
Diddy
the better
Kong, Diddy
Legend
Kong
of
Racing,
Zelda.
Paper
I
Mario.
played that again. That's actually horrible. Yeah, Thousand Year Door.
I'm just saying that there's a lot of great games on the system.
I mean, there's a lot of pretty good games on the system.
Don't
I
say
guess,
pretty
but-
good. They're all really great.
But
Just
the
because they
GameCube
have good
versions
sequels
are
too doesn't mean
all
those
better.
games are good.
the sequels are all better on GameCube.
If this is truly
Every
how you feel,
single-
then you
every
can't
single
say that
game.
about every generation after. You're like, you're saying that like everything peaked at GameCube when all of the games that came after are better, with the exception of Thousand Year Door. Every 3D
That's
Mario
your
after
opinion.
is better. And what about the Zelda for the GameCube?
Second best Zelda.
It's on. No, there's a better version. It's called Wind Waker HD.
Yeah, but that's a remake.
Oh, and the ones that I mentioned that are remakes don't count.
Those weren't factoring into my opinion of GameCube being better.
Yeah,
I was thinking
I know.
of
I know.
Star
I
Fox
know they weren't
Command,
factoring it.
Star Fox Adventures, both better.
Actually, you're right. Star Fox peaked on the GameCube. There was not a better Star Fox post GameCube. Was there? There wasn't one on the Wii.
Zero. I enjoyed.
No, F-Zero's
Fox
not
Zero.
bad. Or not F. Star Fox Zero's not that good. Not as good as the ones on GameCube.
It's better than Yeah, well, it's different. It's better than the 64,
It's because essentially it's a remake of the 64.
but different and better.
It just like retold the same story again.
Just like we told the same story, but different
I'm-
in every way.
I'm
got a guy
just-
named Andros.
I'm just saying that the N64 had a great library of games. A freaking
It had a
amazing
pretty
library.
good library, but
I like how this one's
every sequel
on this
was
list that I'm
better on
looking at. It
GameCube.
lists Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm like, that's not right. That's not a game. That's not an N64 game. Nice try though. Glover. Oh man, Glover. Are We Men Sarge's Heroes?
That game is horrible.
That game's awesome. Don't disrespect that game. It's so
that
good.
game is even harder to control than GoldenEye.
That's not true. That's not true. GoldenEye was pretty hard. It's very 2D. All right, what? Oh, I see this comment here in the answers here, but the Wii is just two GameCubes taped together, and can still play GameCube games. How do you feel about that, Mike?
Yeah, but the GameCube games aren't part of the era.
I think they are.
They though?
Backwards compatibility. Yeah, I think it counts towards that era.
I don't think so.
Think
because
about
if it
how the
did,
Wii
You
U-
would have bought those GameCube games and played them.
Think about how the Wii
You
U
didn't.
basically was like, the Wii is still, look, it uses Wii controllers and plays Wii games. It's great. I mean, I think Nintendo counts them, mashes them together, and then they just remade every game for the Switch, every Wii U title. Give us our next
Except
answer.
Nintendo Land.
Nintendo Land is a
last
hard
answer.
carry for that whole system. It carries
Yeah, it's you.
a lot of weight on its back.
Okay. Monkey Thunder said, I would say that the Switch is my favorite. The majority of the games that Nintendo released are such high quality. You've got Ultimate Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the two Zeldas,
Yep.
Mario Odyssey, and the list goes on. They also have immense third-party support. And second would be GameCube, followed closely by the DS.
It's funny how we're all
Man
kind of listing the
culture
same.
right here.
We're all kind of listing the same eras. It's like Switch, Wii, Super Nintendo. Those are the ones that everybody points to. Nobody in here has mentioned N64. The best generation. This one comes from LPD. The best generation is likely this one. The Switch is one of my favorite consoles of all time. It's got a stellar library, personally. N64 likely takes it for him. Oh, we'll speak of the devil. No, just kidding. He brings up. Okay, so N64 takes it for him on the personal. I'd spend all my money working at a Caravelle ice cream store and mowing lawns, and then he would spend all of that on multiplayer games for sleepovers and weekend hangouts. Mario Party, Turok 2, GoldenEye, Battle Tanks, Mario Kart. I truly think you can't appreciate the leap to a 4-player console gaming unless you had spent your years with only 2-player option. It was a social cornerstone and fostered my love for gaming could be. That's true. And man, we don't have that now. Like Switch kind of keeps it alive, the 4-player local co-op, but that was a big deal. This is when gaming became popular at your friend's house. Like, you could play games in certain circumstances, but even like Super Nintendo, the multiplayer options were limited. Like, N64 was the party console, and this is also the era that Xbox came into fruition, and so it was just like 4-player local co-op was king. And I distinctly remember prior to that generation of systems, when you go to friends' houses, you play toys and stuff, and then after that, you go to friends' houses, you're like, let's all play. I mean, I was talking about how I want to pick up Star Wars Battlefront. Like, I went to my cousin's house, we played Star Wars Battlefront together. It was fun. It was like a fun, like, multiplayer experience we could all have together. And it was like, after that, that became just an integral part of childhood hangouts, just playing video games together. Do kids even do that anymore? Do kids even, like, hang out in real life, play video games? My kids do. Occasionally, but they're still really young. They like to just play toys. Great answers from both Monkey Thunder and LPD there. Monkey Thunder had me until he was like second place as GameCube, and then I have to disagree because
Man of culture.
well, because mostly just because I can't agree with you. You know, what would this
You've never
podcast be?
played the GameCube era.
What would this podcast be if I suddenly was like the GameCube's amazing? Like,
Well,
we'd lose a little.
there would be two reasonable people here.
We'd lose a little bit of the flavor of what makes this show great, and I'd throw up in my mouth a little bit every time I said it.
Hey, when you play Thousand Year Door, you are going. I guarantee,
Oh.
you are going to weep tears of joy.
Oh, I will.
Playing that game.
I will. I know I will.
And you'll have to eat your words. You'll have to take it all back.
No, I'm not taking it all back for one game. Sorry, man.
Take it all back.
That's not how it works, unless it's freaking Breath of the Wild. I'm not taking it back for one game. Thousand Year Door is not Breath of the Wild. Nothing will change my mind on this. Sorry. I'm too old, set in my ways.
Maybe playing the game will.
Yeah, well, I'm doing that, okay? I'm playing Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, you've told me that
The
before.
moment it launches, I will be playing it.
You better.
You that's an Andros guarantee. All right, let's hit us up with the. I'm gonna get. You know what's gonna happen now? I'm gonna be destitute. I'm gonna be absolutely no money on the streets, and you're gonna call me up. I won't have a phone, so you'll have to come find me on the streets, and you'll be like,
messages.
"You said you would play Thousand Year Door," and I'll be like in the streets, and be like, I can't afford it. And you'll be like, "You lied,"
and then I'll shank you.
and then you just kill me.
I didn't say it would kill you.
You can't say that. You can't say that. We're gonna have to bleep
It
that
would
on
be
the podcast.
a relatively small shiv.
All right, let's move on to our next answer here.
Purple Riolu says, I have to agree that I think I'll look back on the Switch era and it will be my favorite, but for nostalgia's sake, I've got to give it to the Wii/DS and especially 3DS. My Animal Crossing and Pokemon machine.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, Pokemon. I mean, that alone, like the DS library for Pokemon games, it also had Animal Crossing Wild World on it. It's like, it's so good.
Was it as good as Crystal?
Yeah, that Heart Gold Soul Silver is on there.
That doesn't count. It's a remake of Crystal.
100% counts. That wasn't just a port. That was like a full-on remake. It was like a full-on remaster to the current generation of graphics.
They made it look nicer, but who cares about graphics? It's all about the gaming experience, they let the Pokemon follow you.
I can't believe
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are like the best Pokemon games.
Yeah, but you got to give credit to Crystal as the game that they remade.
Yeah, but you're not doing that because that's from the generation I'm supporting, which is Super Nintendo and Game Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Oh, so you agree? You agree that Super Nintendo and Game Boy should be up there?
No, just because it has one game.
One great game.
It is one great game.
And with that one great game comes two other games that walked so it could run, and then also two more games before that. 3 games actually: Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Yeah, but those are different games.
Red and Blue crawled so that Yellow could walk, so that Gold and Silver
Crystal could
jog. So that Crystal could run. Could sprint. And that's sprinted. So freaking Heart Gold and Soul Silver could flip and teleport. Let's go. Actually, Pokemon was just like, at what point did Pokemon stop topping itself? Because I felt like every generation was like, oh yeah, up until
happened on the DS.
Yeah. I think it's X and Y. I think X and Y is where I feel like the momentum slowed down.
Although I still kind of think Crystal is kind of the best mainline.
The one that you played in your formative years. It's coming full circle. It's coming full circle.
I played Blue, and then I played Crystal.
Yeah, you act as if the earlier part of your childhood counts more than the later part of your...
Just saying.
That was actually my childhood, but when I was
they're both
when I was a
formative
man
years.
at 10 years old, that's when I knew.
Well, you're saying it's only because I played it in my childhood. Well, I played these other Pokemon games.
Okay, what was the last?
This one was the best.
The last one you played in your childhood.
What came after Crystal?
Did you play Gen 3? Did you play Ruby Sapphire?
No. What's the one after that?
Diamond Pearl.
No.
Yeah, and you would have played that post-childhood. That would have been like teenage.
That's still a child. Your brain's developing.
Teenagers are not children.
You don't fully form your own opinions
until you're like 25.
You're in your teenage years.
Until you're like 25.
Yeah, exactly. Why does it matter if you played them when you were young?
I saw a video this week that was like, when I turned 25. It was like the moment when you turn 25 and you can use your whole frontal cortex for the first time. And he's just like, oh, like he unlocked. Like, I thought it was so funny. I was like, yeah, that's. It just happened one day. You're like, I'm an adult now. Okay, let's move on to the next answer from Fedorable Will, who says, "I'm torn." I am torn.
Sounds real torn there.
Yeah, he's very torn. I'm torn. I'm torn between my nostalgia bias of the Wii and my recency bias of the Switch. Lol. Use the little lol emote. I'd probably go with the Wii because it's when Nintendo's gimmicks started to take off and impact the world around it. It's true. It's what pushed Microsoft towards the Kinect and even inspired that motion control copycat from Sony that no one remembers the name of. That's so true. You didn't see that happening with the portability gimmick of the GameCube or the gamepad controller of the Wii U. The Switch did inspire copycats in the on-the-go gimmick, so that deserves some credit, but the Wii was the first to really have that industry impacting one. I will say that the Wii and DS, the touch generation of games, brought an entire new audience to gaming that was not in gaming prior to that. Because it marketed to our grandmas. And to this day, my wife's grandma has a DS. She plays puzzle games on the DS. She'll pick up Sudoku. My parents were like, hey, we'll buy a Wii. Let's play Wii Sports. My dad still will play Wii Sports with us. And that's like the only game he'll play with. I'm sure if I got him like an Atari, like one of those Atari Rewinds, he'd play that with me. Or like we play some like Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball on the Super Nintendo. But what I'm saying is like it brought back gamers that had gone away from gaming, and it brought new people into gaming that had never done it before. Everybody had a Wii. And then Kinect was like, please, let's tap into this audience as well. I remember when my cousins got a Kinect for Christmas, and we had so much fun playing with the Kinect. Oh, I remember there was this like Smash Bros. Like shooting game where you play as like little animals with like gun arms. That wasn't part of the Kinect.
Saw that one.
That wasn't part of the Kinect. That was just on the Xbox.
Ping pong. Uh-oh.
But anyway, I want to pause here and say thank you and shout out to our fantastic supporters. We have T-Bone in the chat who says, yo, and just subbed. Thank you so much, T-Bone. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Also, Muggles Moo in the chat. Hello. Thank you guys for being here. If you want to watch these shows live, we record on Friday nights. Twitch.com/Nintendo_pals. Okay, unpause from the thank yous, and let's go to our next answer.
Presto says Switch because it's handheld and a console and it has so many older games ported to it, plus multiple games that are the best in the series as exclusives.
Plus, it's also Presto's childhood because Presto's like super young. That's not even true. I think the previous couple generations would be more childhood for Presto's age. I'm just giving him grief. My son would say Switch.
When the GameCube came out?
Because that's the only console that's been out. He was born like 2 months before the console came out.
So you're saying is the Wii was really his childhood?
The Wii U, actually, would be, right?
Oh, yeah.
See, even you forgot about the Wii U.
Hey, it's got the best game of all Nintendo games, though.
It's an underrated system. We've established this. We will talk at length about it, for sure. We can talk at length about it, for sure. That's all the answers, I think. Or wait. Did I give any of our? I did not. Let's head over to Spotify. We got some answers on Spotify. Ayla says Wii U/3DS. Look at that. Speak of the devil. Someone came in and repped an awesome generation. Okay, 3DS hard carries this for sure. But there's a lot of good 3DS games. A lot of good ones. So it's the most creative. The advertisement-wise was not good. But the Wii U is like the best console out there. Starts of great series, and that's also the generation of Reggie. And the GOAT, New Leaf. So that's these are all good points. The Reggie era. Yeah, it started Splatoon. Got the wonderful 101 was there. Bayonetta? Question mark on that?
So sounds right.
Do you remember when Bayonetta won the popularity poll to be in Smash Bros? And everybody's like, that can't be true. I had never heard of Bayonetta before then. I had never heard of Bayonetta.
You hadn't heard of Bayonetta?
Nope.
It's almost like you started your Nintendo phase earlier than I suspected.
and then later, after Sora came out, they were like, actually, Sora was the winner all those years ago. It's like, you lied to us! You lied to us! We didn't vote Bayonetta, we voted for Shrek!
It's been horrible.
How awesome would it have been? Shrek for Smash 4. Okay, that's the answer from Ayla. I have mad respect to anybody coming in and saying Wii U is their favorite generation. All right. It takes guts to come in and say like the least popular generation was your favorite. And when I say least popular, I mean just the Wii U, because the 3DS was very popular. It sold very well and had a lot of games on it. Also has full backwards compatibility for DS games. It's pretty great. Moving on to an answer by Indeed, who says the Wii, because that had the best games, such as Twilight Princess, Mario Kart Wii with those wheel thingies, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii. No 2D Mario game on the GameCube. I will throw that out there.
You even need 2D Mario game when you have Sunshine?
You shut your dirty mouth. Yes, you do.
Like
I'm using your own lines against you. Like, how dare you? That's a Micah-ism.
I don't think I've ever said that.
How dare you to me all the time? And then you shut your dirty mouth. I do distinctly. You do say that to me a lot.
I don't think I've ever insulted someone's mouth.
Except for mine. All the time. Okay. So the consensus among our community, it seems like, is Wii. It seems like the most answers gravitate towards the Wii DS era or Switch. There were a lot for Switch. How do you feel? What do you think the best Nintendo console generation is? Full, true, honest transparency, Micah.
I think it's the Switch.
I agree. I think it's probably the Switch.
And GameCube is second.
Yeah, for me, I'll probably go Wii DS for second, and SNES Game Boy third. Very close third, but I think I was just too young to fully enjoy that generation. Plus it's like a time period where I didn't just get a bunch of games. Games were expensive. Did you feel like games were more expensive in the Super Nintendo? The prices were just not like set in stone.
They're just, yeah.
So there were some that were like wildly
wherever they
expensive.
felt like.
And then other ones that were pretty cheap. But the Wii was like during the every game is 50. Remember those days? Now they're all 70.
Yeah.
Paying 70 for quadruple A games that aren't even good. You know what I mean? Good old times back when games were 50 buckaroonies. And then they're like, oh man, no, they need to be more expensive because games cost more to make. I was like, yeah, but you're also selling bazillions more copies. All right. So you don't need to do that.
I think it also has to do with inflation.
Shut up. I don't want logic.
Gaming has kept up with inflation at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Didn't go up with inflation at all. But should it?
I mean,
no.
Yes.
No. You offset the costs by just selling better and making better games. All right. I'm spitting fire this episode this week. That's the last week we asked you. That's all. That's all the answers that we got. I go next week's question. We would like for you guys to give us your Nintendo themed Kiss, Marry, Kill. Have you played that game before?
I have not.
So you present us with 3 characters, and we have to choose which one we'd kiss, which one we'd marry, and which one we kill. And each of them has to be assigned a thing.
Very interested to see how you would handle Waluigi on any of these.
Yeah, it's tough. It's gonna be an interesting one, I think. So we would like to hear. We would like to get your answers to that question. Like what 3 characters would you like to see us do that for? And maybe give your answer for the 3 as well. What you would pick. I think this will be a fun game. Kind of similar to when we did the marriage tier ranking.
Luigi won.
Luigi won.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
In case anyone's going to actually go back and find what episode that was.
All right, so that's next week's question. And with that, let's jump into the final segment of our show, and let's talk some. What is this called? It's called the Pal Topic. That was real loud, wasn't it?
Why can I hear that?
Because I'm playing it through the call. Welcome to the Pal
I
Topic.
have not heard any of the other ones. I don't know if I was supposed to now.
You were supposed to, so that means it's all recorded really badly.
Oops.
But that's okay. It's a new format, so we just paused for bumpers that weren't there. Oh, and now it's playing again.
We're playing again, huh?
Okay. Micah, have you ever heard of engagement baiting?
Oh.
Well, a lot of people are very into this now, as in creators are doing a lot of engagement baiting. The rise of fake podcasts on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or whatever, where it just shows like a snippet from what may be a podcast or may not be a podcast, and they're just like saying things that will spark people to engage in discussion. They'll hit the comments. That's what the POW topic is this week. We are going to be stating things, controversial opinions or facts that may lead to us arguing, may lead to people in the comments arguing. But all this segment is engagement bait. That's what we're doing. So controversial takes on Nintendo things. So let's get started. Micah, hit us with your first controversial opinion.
Ocarina of Time is the worst 3D Mario game. Not Mario. Zelda game.
Starting strong.
Actually, I never really got into Majora's Mask either, but I'm still going to give that to Ocarina of Time.
So okay. Give the opinion again, but
Ocarina of Time is the worst Legend of Zelda 3D game.
It's a crazy take. Ocarina of Time is such a
really
beloved classic. People like that game a lot. Why is it bad?
About 50% of the world have never even played it. 50% of gamers, I should say,
Really?
have never even played it because they're too young. It's so old. The text speed is so slow. It's so slow.
Well, here's my controversial opinion. You're wrong. Okay. First off, Ocarina of Time
It is
great.
controversial.
Here's my thing I want to throw at you. Donkey Kong games are overrated. I'm not really.
I think I'd agree with
I'm
that,
not really
actually.
a fan of Donkey Kong games. Any of the Donkey Kong Country games. There's some like nostalgia for me for obviously playing them, and I think they have amazing soundtracks. But like new Donkey Kong Country, I didn't really enjoy. I didn't really enjoy Donkey Kong Country after like 2, and even those ones was like they're okay. Mario's better. Mario's just a better platform. Sorry, Donkey Kong fans, but like people love Tropical Freeze. I just can't get into it. I don't like it. I tried Donkey Kong Country Returns, didn't like it, and I just think that they are overrated, and that there's a reason Mario is Nintendo's favorite and not Donkey Kong. You agree with me?
I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
We share that controversial opinion. You got another controversial opinion? I'm gonna fill up my water while you do it because I'm
Mario 64 is the worst 3D Mario game.
N64 game.
That seems to be the way it's going currently.
Well, I've got for you a counterpoint. I think that Mario Sunshine is the worst Mario game. And we had a whole episode where we fought about this last episode.
Obviously you're wrong, but okay.
Presto was talking in my Twitch chat this week. It was like, I thought it was very funny that I completely derailed the episode and turned it into a Mario ranking episode based off of my question. And it was like, it's so true that he did that. That this is the power that our audience has. They can completely change the episode on the fly.
Yep.
Oh, LPD asks, is Mario 64 in the top 10 N64 games for Micah?
Yes.
Micah does not think highly of the N64.
Let's say that. I just can't think of 10 64 games.
All right. I have a hot take for you. I think that New Super Mario Bros. Is a good series. All of the games. All of the New Super Mario Bros. Games are fun. And I like them. And I'm tired of pretending like they were stale and bad. Tired of... I've never pretended that. But I'm tired of everybody treating them like they were bad. Just because you got sick of them doesn't mean they were bad.
Kind of agree with that, actually.
I liked them all.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed all the new Super Mario Bros. Games I played.
What we need to do the. Can I blow your mind for a second? Take off the glasses.
Can I blow your mind for a second?
You can't hear me anymore. Let me tell you something really crazy, and you're not going to be able to argue with me because my headset is off. I can't hear anything you're saying.
Now this will really blow your mind. Check my mic. The camera.
Yeah, let me boggle your mind for a second here. Okay.
Our audio listeners are really enjoying this bit that's going on here. Just doing all visual things.
Okay. I like open world games, and I would like to see an open world version of just about every series Nintendo has. Open world Mario, do it. Open world Pokemon, do it. I mean, they kind of did. They definitely did. Just going about it. Do it more. Do it better. How are you feeling, Micah? About open world?
I think they're fun.
Yeah.
I don't think every game needs to be open.
Yeah, but I'm
You
okay
can
with
get-
every
there's-
series having one.
Open world burnout
Is
a
real.
thing
Yeah.
that I have felt in the past.
Hit me with another controversial opinion.
96% of the players, people who say that Mario Sunshine isn't good, just aren't good. They just need to get good.
They're just not good at games.
Most of the negative opinions for Mario Sunshine, they're just not good at the game. It's too hard for them, so they don't like it.
That's not why I don't like it. I don't like it because it's bad.
It's a little bit. You're talking about like, oh, the controls, it's so hard to do these things. Well, get good, and then you can do those things. It's not that hard.
It's not.
You can do so many flippy things. There's spinny flips.
I think it's like well documented how hard it
Jetpack.
is to control
You
in
can
that game.
jump off so many walls.
The reason they have flood is to help correct the bad jumping.
You don't even need FLUDD. You can do the wildest jumping without FLUDD to skip so many parts of levels. With FLUDD, it's pretty much easy to skip half the levels.
God, this is just bad. It's just bad game design.
You have more maneuverability options in Mario Sunshine than just about
I was saying,
any 3D Mario game.
if you're fighting my my controversial opinions by just saying get good, I think that's like not a very good argument. I don't know. I mean, like you're not really arguing my points. You're just kind of going like, yeah, you're just not good enough.
I think maybe you should get good.
I mean, what more do you want? You don't think it controls well because you're bad at controlling them. If you got better at the game, you would control better.
Can we pause
And you
these
do all the
controversial
cool
takes
movement.
for a second? Because LPD's asking a question in the chat that I think is interesting. Will Lethal Company come to Switch? And if so, would it be fun without mods?
I think Lethal Company would be a great game to come to Switch.
Yeah.
And I think it would be fun without mods.
Yeah, agree. I think the game is really fun without mods. Now, mods kept it alive for me and for us because we have a big friend group. So being able to put in the mod to play with more people was a really was really cool. But even when it was before we were playing with mods, it's just 4 of us playing. We were having a blast. And we played quite a few hours. I'd say we got like 40 hours out of just that. And then we continued to get more hours on top of that by trying different mods. But we could have kept going, just standard. Yeah. Okay. Got another unpopular opinion for you. I don't think that the Switch needs a power upgrade. Would it be nice? Yes. Would I like it if they came in with like a better processor, graphics. Yeah. But does it need it? No. It doesn't need it. Because 99%, 95% of the Switch audience does not care. I don't care what you think. You're coming out there in the comments and you're typing like, I wanted it, so it must be like, yeah, you live in your bubble. You're in the gamer bubble, like the hardcore gamer bubble. You probably have another console, right? If you're about to comment and you have another console, stop, okay? because
That's a little bit like gatekeeping here.
yeah, I am gatekeeping. I don't think Switch owners care. The majority of Switch owners do not care about graphical quality. They care about the games being fun. And it only...
It's really weird that you make that point after talking about how Wind Waker HD is like a completely different game just because the graphics are different.
I don't remember making that point, but I probably did.
Oh, you're definitely making that point how it didn't count as a GameCube era game.
No, it does count as a GameCube era game.
They remade the graphics.
Yeah. Okay. But that's my hot take here is that I don't think it needs it. It's selling great as is, and I think the majority of people would just like to see more games rather than more power. Now there is a point where that will diminish, but I don't think it's hit that. Right? Like there's a point where it's like, okay, this is too outdated. But what are they competing against that would be like making it outdated? Nothing. Yeah. If you compare it to the Xbox or the PlayStation, but what's Xbox PlayStation doing, man? They don't have games coming out right now, and they don't have a portable system. That's why I'm like, I don't think, and I've seen people be like, yeah, but look at the Steam Deck. Have you seen Steam Deck sales? Have you seen the Steam Deck sales? Because they're not there. It's not happening. So the Switch is not. They're not a competitor. The Switch is not incentivized to make beefier console. The same thing happened with the PSP versus the DS. PSP is a more powerful system, better system by a lot of standards, but DS walks circles around it, man.
Games.
It doesn't have the games. PSP didn't have the games.
It does have Mario Sunshine.
See, at the end of the day, I mean, prior to Scarlet and Violet, I'd say like, oh, you just like poop out a Pokemon and people are gonna buy the system. I think Scarlet and Violet sort of woke people up a little bit because it was just broken in a lot of ways. But even still, it's sold like crazy. A bad selling Pokemon game is like a best selling game for any other series. There's my controversial take. Hit me with another one, Micah. Maybe you should... Oh, I was gonna suggest one, but you looked like you actually had one ready.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say that I think Mario Sunshine's movement is actually very good and better than most Mario games.
I was gonna say maybe you should talk about the Wii U. Your opinion on the Wii U, because I think you and I hold a controversial opinion on the Wii U.
I don't think it's that controversial.
I think so.
I think just about anyone who has played a Wii U thinks it's a good system.
It is. It's a great system. It's underrated.
So the only people's opinions that are saying it's not very good are people that haven't played it. They're just uninformed. It doesn't matter. I think my controversial opinion is I don't think your opinion matters.
I can't wait to clip these.
Your opinion means nothing to me.
Can't wait to clip these and put these on like TikTok. People just... If people see these, they're just gonna be like, why are these people so aggressive?
Why are you trying to push your opinion on me?
I've got another controversial take for you. I think Skyward Sword's pretty good. It's one of my...
Is that controversial?
It's one of my favorite Zelda games. Yeah, people don't like that game. They're like,
you can cut down trees.
Motion control, gross. And I'm like, it was a good game. It was a good game. And this kind of stacks into another opinion I have here, and that's that. Contrary to what everybody says, Nintendo does care about Zelda lore. Why would they make Skyward Sword if they didn't care about the lore? So, like, is the intro to the series. So, wait, can we just pause here? Do you have a fan or something on? You're like chewing? Your hair was bouncing up and down. You see that? You see that? What the heck? You weren't moving, just your hair.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hold still. I'm we just this episode has been a lot of like really it sucks to be an audio listener to this podcast. We apologize, but yeah, this is looking and it's like hair's like just slightly moving. I still see it. I still see it. Now I'm it's distracting me now.
At this point,
Okay. Nintendo does care about Zelda lore. Like, why would they make the Hyrule Historia if they didn't care about the lore? Now, do I like their timeline? No, I think their timeline's kind of garbage. I'll be
I
real.
don't think they actually care too much. They're just like, this would be kind of a cool place to have some sort of lore. This lore seems pretty good. We'll shove it in Zelda somehow.
Yeah, it could be better connected.
They like bits of lore, and then they're just like that just goes in there somewhere.
Yeah,
That's how it kind of feels.
yeah, you're right. You're right. But it's there. I mean, like all the Zonai stuff. That was like predicted and found out before the game came out. Before any of that was announced. When it was like just Breath of the Wild, and they were like, "Who are the mysterious tribe of Zonai?" I don't even know where the name came from, because it was already in circulation before they announced it was in the game. So that
Probably because people made it up and like, hey, that's a pretty good name. That's a pretty good
they just
idea.
put it in.
It's just gonna take some of that.
Yeah. Okay. You got any more takes you want to share?
I think Metroid Dread mode is the true way to play that game.
Really?
That is the optimal Dread experience. Playing it in Dread
That's
mode.
true. Yeah. Playing it in Dread mode. I mean, it is Metroid Dread. It's very that's dreadful. It's full of dread.
It feels like how the game was meant to be played.
Yeah. I think that Mario Kart Wii was meant to be played with the Wii wheel. In that same vein. Like if you're not playing with the Wii wheel, then you're playing it wrong.
Do you ever play it with the wheel?
Wii? Mario Kart Wii?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exclusively.
Do you though? Do you though?
100%, yeah.
I feel like I've never seen this.
Well, I did. That's how I played it. I don't play that way for Mario Kart now. Now, post Wii, I feel like the the physics of the game changed so that it makes more sense to play controller, just regular standard controller. But yeah.
I tried it in one and then I forgot. Oh no, yeah, it was the one that LPD said. I don't like cheese. It's gross. It's not really Nintendo related.
You don't like cheese? What?
Yeah, don't pretend like that's news to you.
That doesn't have anything to do with Nintendo though. Except for you don't like
Hey, they have cheese in Nintendo games.
Yeah, you don't like Cheeseland.
Breath of the Wild, they're like, hey, you better eat this cheese. And I'm like, no. I'm gonna drop that on the ground. Kick into a hole. Seems like maybe my opinion isn't that controversial. Unless it's just a delayed comment by T-Bone. saying I'm with you on that one.
LPD sharing a controversial one in chat here. The Game Boy was better than the DS. I disagree. I think the DS is really good. Picto chat?
Hmm. Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone on Game Boy.
Oh, I was like, Lego Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was on DS.
Lego games aren't good. That's my controversial
Oh,
opinion.
you don't
I
like
have
Lego
not played
games?
it. I have not played a single Lego game that I've enjoyed.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna end it. I've not played a single one. I was like, wait, how can you have an opinion? You haven't played it.
No, I've played some. None of them have been good.
Um, we need to bring Mii's back. That's I don't know if that's a controversial opinion, but it should be brought back.
Just, I don't think it's too controversial. I think there's approximately one person in the world who would like it, and everyone else is like, we don't really care. So there's not too much controversy.
No, I think most people are in support of bringing back Mii's. I think it would be really good. It's like iconic. They're still in games. They're like halfway there. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. They didn't commit to any like replacement for it either. They were just like, here's this flavorless home screen with no Mii's on it. You know? That's a bummer. Okay, I've got a controversial take. Mario sports games aren't that good. I don't like them that much. There have been a few that I played that I really that I like, but even the ones that I like aren't competing with other games on the system, right? And I feel like definitely don't deserve to be in the same price range. like crazy to me that I like I got duped into it, man. I bought Mario Strikers Charged. I've played it so little, like not at all. And and I knew that was going to happen too. I knew in my heart that it wasn't going to be good. But I got sucked into the hype and bought it. And it's not good. The first game wasn't good.
It's almost
The
good.
Wii game wasn't good. They're not fun.
How dare you?
They're just not that good.
Strikers Charged, an absolute classic.
Nah,
The only problem is
nah.
the goalies in this, the Charge and Chuck dude or whatever they are, they're horrible goalies. They're the absolute worst.
Yeah. LPD says you're hanging the DS on PictoChat. You can't tell me PictoChat's not awesome. All right, PictoChat's great. Oh, there's a lot of great games.
Awesome.
T-Bone throws out Nintendogs. What happened to Nintendogs? Why haven't they brought? Why hasn't there been like a new Nintendogs game?
Because you get games like that for free on your phone.
It's not the same. Did you play Nintendogs?
Nope.
Okay, well, shut up. You don't know you don't know what you're talking about.
I played Pets with a Z on my computer.
That's not a good game. That's
I don't know. It seemed better than Nintendogs to me.
You cannot come in here and say that third party Pets with a Z is better than Nintendogs.
You can breed your cats into different cats? How cool is that? Yeah, you heard it here.
It is bad. I think you need to play a Nintendogs game.
The beach volleyball minigame thing in Mario Party 4 is the best sports game that Nintendo has put out.
Let's see here. Melee is not the best Smash Bros. Controversial opinion.
Most reasonable people think that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue that every game that came after it, I liked more. Yeah. And that's just like Ultimate's where it's at, for sure. Smash 4 is really good as well. Brawl, I can see why people...
Subspace Emissary sub.
Yeah, I can see why people don't like Brawl. But Brawl's one of my favorites.
They just need to let you turn off the tripping for when people want to get.
Plus, it's like more floaty, less so it feels less snappy. But maybe it's just because I'm a slower thinker. I like having the.
I mean, with the slow movement, it's more of a chess game. It feels like almost.
Yeah, you're more. It's more strategic.
More time to try and outcalculate.
Right. It's more strategic and less reaction based. Now, some would argue that reaction-based fighting games are like what fighting games are. And I would argue that I think fighting games kind of suck. I'm not a fan of fighting games. That's my controversial opinion on top of controversial opinion here. I think that fighting games are not fun. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, all of them.
Soul Calibur 2?
Soul Calibur 2? Oh, 100%. 100%.
With Link?
Tekken? No.
I agree with you for all those except Soul Calibur.
The King of Fighters?
That game was fantastic. And it had one of my favorite gaming moments in the history of the world.
And all those...
Me and Jacob were taking turns playing through the campaign.
Yeah,
and Talon just went into an infinite front-flipping loop, never touching the ground, and just kept doing it until he fell off the edge and died.
Yeah, see, that's why it's not fun. It's all about memorizing button combinations.
No, that's not even a real thing. That was definitely a bug. That's not possible. I'm relatively confident that's not possible.
I don't like fighting games because I feel like it's a game...
You're just not good at them. Yes.
It's a game of like memorizing button combinations that will do like a combo and figuring out the combo, and it just doesn't feel rewarding to me. Especially when you're playing against somebody. A fighting game is at its peak when you're playing against somebody at like an equal skill level to you. But then how do you get better? You have to play against people that are just going to work you. And it's like, that's just not fun. I don't...
No, like when it comes to Smash Bros, I tend to just enjoy beating up on all my friends, actually. Makes me feel real good about myself.
But imagine being your friends.
Seems like
we just get beat up. I remember having a conversation with like your sister, and she was like, "I thought I was really bad at Smash Bros. Until I played with other people. I realized, wow, I'm really good. I've just been playing with Micah this whole time."
That's
a pretty funny statement.
My older brother Kyle and his two older brothers were all pretty good.
LPD in chat says, "Get good." You'll like fighting games if you're better at them.
Exactly. I will say I've seen Mortal Kombat, and they have to make it so that the more because you can essentially infinitely combo people. So they have to make it so that the more hits you have in the combo, the less damage you do. To where at the end you just don't do any damage, but you can keep the combo going. That does not seem fun.
It's not fun.
That seems like a bad.
The concept.
Design. I'm sure it's really hard or something, but it just seems like you get one hit in and then you just go into your memorized combo.
Yeah, the concept of memorized combos is just so not fun. And I feel like that's why I like Smash Bros. Over a game like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, is that it's kind of got like a platforming sense to it. And while there is combos, there's a lot more you can do to get out of combos. Now, when you face someone who is like incredibly good and will just combo you to oblivion, that's no fun. It's no fun. You're not playing the game. You're just sitting there getting walloped. And as I mean, you say that you have fun beating up on people. When I play Smash Bros against people that I'm better than, it's not fun. It's not fun to just easily win. So
try and easily win while taking like no damage or something without losing a life.
Yeah, these
You
are
have
the
to make
things
your
you
own
have to.
little extra
Those are the things you have
challenges.
to do, like some meta game to try and make it fun for you. It's like that's just lame. That's lame.
Hmm. Isn't that kind of what you do to make Ocarina of Time fun? You're talking about like you've been doing all these speed runs for it and things because the base game just isn't fun.
I think that's
So you
more
got
like what I
try
did.
and do all these glitches
That's like more what I did after playing the game and having fun with it to keep it fresh.
to keep it fresh.
Yeah. But if you're having to do that to just make it fun from the get go, I don't know if that's a good state.
I've earned being good at Smash Bros.
Um, I okay. I got another controversial opinion here. But as I get older, the older I get, the less I like long games. I
Like open world games.
I like value a shorter experience from start to finish. So I feel like I find myself playing a lot more indie titles and then just sticking to like big mainline titles because just don't have the time commitment to play a 70-hour RPG. Unless it's Zelda. That's it. That's the exception.
What about like a 30 to like 40 hour over 2 games RPG?
Are you still talking about Zelda?
Golden Sun 1 and 2
Yeah,
that you can play for free.
that is not appealing to me. It's not appeal to me. It's
Well,
just
don't
like
do all
the
extra
time
stuff.
commitment. I'm just looking
Don't
at it
find
like,
all the Jin.
and even now we're playing through Baldur's Gate, 3, and I am loving my experience with it. But I'm like, we're never gonna finish this game. It feels like we've been playing for so long, and we still have so much left. We're like what,
Only
2/3 in?
yeah, we're already
We have a
2/3
whole
the way
third
done.
left. Based off of what's videos getting recommended to me, there's a ton of stuff left to do. A ton. It's like, this
Well,
is
we did
garbage.
promise we'd meet like 14 people in Baldur's Gate.
We'll meet you in the city. Every time we did that, we were like, oh shoot, we're gonna have another side quest up in that.
We're gonna have so many quests.
But we've had fun. We've had fun with it. But it's like I can't play a lot of games like that, and so I think my desire to play those longer games has decreased. And my desire for shorter, more condensed and concentrated experiences has increased. So I have a real hard time looking at JRPGs that people are like, you gotta play. You gotta play Xenoblade. Like, do I though? Do I though? You gotta play Fire Emblem. Like, you gotta try Final Fantasy. It's like, nah. And then like all these Ubisoft games, like every Assassin's Creed lately, and I'm trying to think of other games where they just like it feels like extra inflated. Well, yeah, that's a hot take I've got. Any more hot
I
takes?
got one last hot
Okay.
take if you don't have any.
Get let's see.
Are you thinking of
A closer for me. I am thinking okay. Yeah, sorry. There was like a long moment of silence there as I thought. I have a weird opinion about Nintendo and emulation. Okay, we talked about this a little bit earlier. But I think I like emulation, and I like the creativity it brings. I like mods for games. I think it's a fun way to keep a game alive and active. And and I don't know if this is a hot take. I think there will be a lot of people that disagree with this, but I think Nintendo's aggressive behavior towards emulators and towards modding and towards just anybody that wants to use their IP is horrible and dumb, and they shouldn't do it. And this coming from what I would consider myself a Nintendo fanboy, a Nintendo defender, but I just don't want to get behind them when they're just like shutting down cool things. Remember that like fan-made Metroid game that was like a reimagining of Super Metroid, or like a sequel to Super Metroid? And it was like instantly shut down. It's like, dude, why can't someone just have some fun making a Metroid? You know?
It's terrible. Then people think Nintendo made it, and then people hate Nintendo.
I guess so. That's going to be a problem regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, and here's the thing.
Only the diehards are can even know about
Yeah,
it.
I think
Or care.
copyright law is too intense and too aggressive, too over the top. Now, I might change my opinion on this if I have something that gets stolen or whatever, but like as of right now, I just don't see why we can't like come to a better solution for that, rather than it's mine, no one can use it. Like the like Nintendo's like a little goblin that's like, don't touch my gold or you'll be eaten alive. I mean, they're like they'll sue someone for like using music that they don't want them to use, or like a freaking free mod to play Breath of the Wild multiplayer, and they're like, no, you can't do that. And while we're at it, take down all your videos that ever did mod content. It's like, come on, man, just let people have some fun with your games. They bought it. You bought the game. They should be able to do what they want with the game. And this I know can spark some debate here. I believe that if you've purchased the thing, you should be able to take and do with that thing for your personal use. For personal use. I don't encourage piracy. I don't want people to pirate things. You should be able to do what you want with it. I bought a... I've got to think of like a thing here.
Blender.
A blender. I should be able to go like, I'm gonna modify this so that it
Soup this up.
Yeah, so it's a cooler blender or whatever. I should be able to do that and not.
But then, would you be able to sell those modded blenders?
No. Until it's like transformed enough to be something completely different. But I think Nintendo knows a thing or two about that, because that's kind of what they did when they started. They took hardware from other places and they were like, look, we've Nintendo-fied it. And then basically bullied the people out of not being able to make systems. And then the same thing happened to them with the Philips, with the Sony deal, and then Sony went and made PlayStation. It's like if it's transformative enough, sure. But I feel like you should be able to buy the thing and take it and do what you want. Should you be able to distribute your mods by that logic? Now, that's where things get gray and tricky. I know. But I think, yeah, if they bought the base thing and the mod is on top of the base thing, you should be able to not sell, but you should be able to, like, give to your friend your mods. And then they can play it on the base game that they purchased.
As long as there's no profiting from it.
Exactly. Right? What's the harm in that? It's like me coming over to your house and being like,
Well, you probably didn't quality test it good enough.
Sure.
Probably introduces some sorts of bugs or things.
Sure.
And then people play this and they're like, wow, Nintendo sucks.
No. Then you say your friend sucks.
We're going to go burn down the building.
But you come. It's like me coming to your house and be like, I've got some new house rules that we should play with for Monopoly that make the game way better. And then some rules that I've added. I maybe have some new parts and pieces that we can add to the board, and then we make Monopoly playable because its current state it sucks.
I think you're playing Monopoly wrong.
No, Monopoly's not fun. Monopoly is not that fun to play.
Monopoly is kind of
Ugh.
fun. When you land on a spot and you don't buy it, do you put it up for auction?
Yeah, we do. Because it's way better that way.
Okay. That's the way to play Monopoly.
Yeah. That's the way you're
I
supposed
feel
to
like growing up you did not play that way.
Yeah.
But
LPD got
LPD
auto modded
raises a
by
good
that.
point here.
Like, yeah, you could make inappropriate looking modifications, and then it's all over. Yeah, but here's the thing: is people are gonna do that anyways. It's the classic like. Let's look at U.S. history here with the Prohibition. All right, what happened when the Prohibition was put into place? An entire illegal market became like normal. And that's kind of what Nintendo is doing. They are prohibiting legal means of doing the things that people want to do. And so they're doing it illegally.
I mean,
in gray areas.
Are these things legal that they're shutting down? It sounds a lot like they've stolen things, kind of, and they're allowing people to pirate games real easily.
Yeah. But if there was... that's what I'm saying, is they're doing things illegally to fill a need that is not available legally.
Because you want piracy to be legal. I see.
Let's make piracy illegal. That would fix everything, wouldn't it? No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Sounds a little bit like what you were saying.
No, but we should bring back the Prohibition. No drunk drivers.
Huh? I never stopped underage people.
True. That's true.
But
So true.
there are probably fewer underage people drinking than there would be if underage drinking was legal.
Okay, well then let's take this in a similar but separate topic. Nintendo's attitudes towards competitive gaming, like Smash Bros, is bad. I don't like it. I think it is hurtful for the community, and I don't understand why they care so much. It's just one of again, it's just like, just let them have fun. Just let people have fun with your games, and don't come in here and try and like police how they do things. Just make the product, and let people do what they want with the product. I don't see why that's so hard. I don't get it. Share your opinions in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Micah, give us your last controversial opinion.
I think that it is time for this episode to end.
That's not that controversial. It's a pretty long episode. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and who's watching along with us. Hey, if you haven't already, please check out our show on YouTube. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers over on YouTube. That puts us closer and closer to partner status, which means that we can have like channel memberships and other cool things, more storage, and other cool partner benefits. I mean, come on. So all of that being said, can I give a huge shout out and thank you to our fantastic Patreon supporters? That's patreon.com/NintendoPals, where for as little as $1, you can support the show, the madness that happens here, all these controversial opinions. You help fuel the fire. Spread the word so that we can take over the world. And that is a huge shout out and thank you to T-Bone, who's here in chat as well. T-Bone, you're awesome. Thank you. Nick Lanoy, Fedorable Will, Monkey Thunder, Madison, aka Purple Riolu, Lava Plays, John Cummins, Lil Miss 7, who is at our Pal Latinum tier. Thank you, Lil Miss 7. You're awesome. The biggest supporter of the show. Tim A, aka NeoPrime33, aka Nintendo Dad number 4, aka one of the coolest guys on the internet. Seth Sturgill from All In. LPD, who is also here in the chat. LPD, thank you so much. Spider Shan, Solo, and Mute Dog the Gamer. Thank you all so much for your fantastic support to the show. We really appreciate all that you do for us here and supporting the craziness that is Nintendo Pals. If you out there listening want to help support the show, you can do so by checking out patreon.com/Nintendo Pals. Or if you don't have financial means, you can support us by leaving a 5-star review on your podcast listening app of choice. It really does help the show out. Please, please, please do that. If you haven't already, leave us a 5-star review. Micah, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Which microphone?
You can find me on Twitch every day this month. Andros1. And also on YouTube. And TikTok. Until they ban it. So with all that being said, we're going to end our recording here. So, peace out.